Chapter 31-37. That's right. Although the young man and the others deserved to die, at least they didn't sneak around. However, this Zhang Sanbao was a classic example of a treacherous person who acted one way on the surface. Should I kill you? Damn bitch. Just you wait. I'll let you taste a fate worse than death. Zhang Sanbao laughed sinisterly. Just you? Zhao Xiaojin looked disdainful. Boom. The two fists met. Under Zhang Sanbao's punches that were like sandbags, Zhao Xiaojin's fists seemed extremely delicate and soft. However, the moment the two fists collided, a terrifying power surged out like a flood that could topple mountains and overturn seas. Ah! Zhang Sanbao immediately screamed in pain, and his entire body flew out like a meteorite. His fist and his entire arm were instantly shattered. How is this possible? Not only Zhang Sanbao, the remaining 9 people, including Yi Tian and the 2 middle-aged men guarding the prison, were all in disbelief. What kind of power was this? How could it crush an ultimate expert of the same level? Yi Tian turned to Qin Feiyang and asked, "Is this the breakthrough you mentioned?" That's right. The fire dragon is undergoing the tribulation in the trial ground. She used the power of the tribulation to temper her body to the supreme level. Qin Feiyang nodded. I see. Yi Tian nodded in realization. In terms of the law, only Zhang Sanbao can match her. But Zhang Sanbao's body is far inferior to hers. As for the others, their bodies are not strong, and their law power is not strong. Zhao Xiaojin's strength is enough to kill them instantly. So there's no suspense in this battle. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. But as far as I know, 2 of them have heaven-defying divine artifacts. One of them is Zhang Sanbao, and the other is the man in green called Wang Jiang, the son of the West City Lord. Yi Tian transmitted his voice. Wang Jiang. Qin Feiyang looked at the man in green. That person was one of the few perfection undead stage experts. At that time in the trial grounds, this person and the muscular young man were the most arrogant. So he was the son of the West City's city lord. It's useless even if you have a heaven-defying divine artifact. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Yi Tian was stunned. As the grandson of the Vice Alliance Master, even your younger brother's magic sword of slaughter is only a pinnacle godly artifact. Even Feng Wanyun's heaven-defying divine artifact is only a low-grade one, let alone the sons of 2 city lords. Even if they have heaven-defying divine artifacts, they would at most be low-grade or mid-grade. Is such a heaven-defying divine artifact a match for the 3rd profound of the laws of light? Qin Feiyang smiled confidently. How do you know about the Slayer magic sword? Yi Tian frowned. The battle between your brother and Madman Mo, as well as the battle between you and Qin Feiyang, the entire Sky Cloud realm knows about it. It's not strange for me to know. Qin Feiyang smiled. Yi Tian nodded. At the same time, in the sky, Zhao Xiaojin sent Zhang Sanbao flying with a punch, and the killing intent domain also shattered. Following that, she charged towards the others. Because she knew that Zhang Sanbao was the strongest, if she killed him first, it would definitely delay some time. So it was best to get rid of the others before that. A yellow-clothed woman, seeing Zhao Xiaojin charge towards her, immediately turned pale. She only had a perfect imperishable realm cultivation, and she had just comprehended the 1st profound of the laws of light. How could she be Zhao Xiaojin's opponent? She couldn't even escape. Clang! The holy light sword fell, and the yellow-clothed woman screamed miserably. Her body was cut in half on the spot, and her soul was instantly annihilated. Swish! At this time, Zhao Xiaojin was like a demoness, covered in blood, emotionless and cold. Every time the holy light sword attacked, one person would die. When the azure-clothed man saw this scene, he was terrified, and his soul was scared out of his wits. They never thought that this woman would be so terrifying. Feng Wanyan was the same. He thought that Zhang Sanbao and the others could easily kill Zhao Xiaojin, but he didn't expect that Zhang Sanbao and the others would be defeated. In just a few breaths, only Zhang Sanbao and the other 5 perfect imperishable realm cultivators were left. You can go to hell too. Zhao Xiaojin went crazy and charged towards the azure-clothed man, Wang Jiang. Wang Jiang was shocked and hurriedly turned around to flee. How could he have the courage to fight now? Just looking at it was terrifying. Trash, trash, all of you are trash. Hurry up and join forces to kill her, or you will all die. Feng Wanyan roared. But who would listen? No one listened to him, and they were all fleeing. Even Zhang Sanbao had the thought of retreating. We can't let them escape. Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice to Yi Tian. I'm only a perfect imperishable realm cultivator. How can I trap them? Yi Tian thought. Then I'll do it. Qin Feiyang spoke, and was about to open the Emperor Divine Prison. But at this moment, Zhao Xiaojin spat out a mouthful of blood essence, and her speed increased several times. In an instant, she caught up with Wang Jiang and attacked with her sword. No. Even if Wang Jiang had a heaven-defying artifact, he forgot to resist and looked at Zhao Xiaojin and screamed. However, Zhao Xiaojin did not show any mercy and her sword fell. Wang Jiang also died on the spot. This is the forbidden technique that she used to escape with you in the trial ground. Yi Tian turned to look at Qin Feiyang with a trace of surprise on his face. You have such a good relationship with her, don't you know? Qin Feiyang asked. I don't know. Yi Tian shook her head. Yes, this is her forbidden technique at the cost of vitality. Qin Feiyang nodded and silently took out the divine sound transmission stone. At this time, Zhang Sanbao and the others were already scared out of their wits. Under such circumstances, there was a high possibility that they would tell the truth themselves. As long as it was recorded, it would be irrefutable evidence. Whoosh! After killing Wang Jiang, Zhao Xiaojin rushed to the next person. No. Please, it's all our fault. We shouldn't have listened to Feng Wanyan's instigation and come to kill you. Sorry. Just let us go. The remaining 4 people, other than Zhang Sanbao, all knelt in the air in despair and begged for mercy. Sure enough, as Qin Feiyang had expected, these people told the truth in the face of death. Qin Feiyang's eyes revealed a trace of a smile. At the same time, Yi Tian's face also darkened as her gaze swept towards Feng Wanyan. Feng Wanyan felt Yi Tian's gaze and his heart immediately turned cold as he roared. What nonsense are you talking about? When did I instigate you? It's you. Back then, Zhao Xiaojin and Emma Wuhui made you lose face in the East City, and then instigated us to kill them in the trial ground. It's also you who killed Zhao Eryong's family. Zhao Xiaojin, what we said is true. He told us personally not long ago. Every injustice has its perpetrator, every debt has its debtor. If you want revenge, go find him. The few of them looked at Zhao Xiaojin and anxiously roared. Although Feng Wanyan is the real culprit, you are also accomplices. Zhao Xiaojin laughed sinisterly. Like a ghost, he swept across the sky like lightning, his sword rising and falling. Accompanied by a series of screams, the blood of the 4 people splattered across the sky one after another. In this way, only Zhang Sanbao was left. Zhao Xiaojin turned to look at Zhang Sanbao. Xiaojin, let's talk things out. Zhang Sanbao retreated in fear as he raised his other hand and waved it with a flattering smile. There's nothing to talk about. Although I didn't like you in the past, I didn't hate you either. But I didn't expect you to do such a thing. Zhao Xiaojin landed in front of Zhang Sanbao with a murderous aura. Don't. I was forced to do it. Feng Wanyan is the grandson of the 10th elder. How could I not listen to him? If I didn't listen, not only me, even my father and my family would suffer his revenge. They're right, every injustice has its perpetrator, every debt has its debtor. Go find him. Zhang Sanbao was also scared out of his wits, his face full of fear. What about my father? My mother? My brother? Do they all deserve to die? I was right, you're a good-for-nothing. Zhao Xiaojin roared and slashed with her sword. In a hurry, Zhang Sanbao took out a golden thin sword and placed it in front of him. This was his heaven-defying artifact. Just as Qin Feiyang had guessed, it was just a low-level heaven-defying artifact. Clang! Accompanied by a deafening sound, the holy radiant sword broke the thin sword. At the same time, a neat line of blood appeared on Zhang Sanbao's body. This line of blood started from the center of his head all the way to his lower body. Obviously, when the holy radiant sword broke the thin sword, it also split Zhang Sanbao's body into 2. Zhang Sanbao stood in the void in a daze, his eyes wide open in anger, but in the next moment, accompanied by a shrill scream, His body split open from the middle, blood gushing out. Zhao Xiaojin looked at this scene coldly, raised the holy radiant sword, and shattered Zhang Sanbao's shattered soul, completely killing him. Strong. Yes, as expected of the East City's genius girl. The two guards of the divine prison looked at Zhao Xiaojin and muttered to themselves, their eyes filled with shock. Xiaojin has grown up. A smile appeared on Yi Tian's face. It's hard not to grow up after encountering such a thing. Qin Feiyang sighed, raised his hand and grabbed the thin sword that was cut in half, flying through the air and into his heart. The thin sword was a heaven-defying artifact. It had its own consciousness and struggled to leave. If you don't want your soul to be destroyed, stay here obediently. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly. The thin sword trembled and immediately became obedient. What are you doing? Yi Tian looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. Zhao Xiaojin just happens to lack a heaven-defying artifact. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and sent the thin sword to the Black Tortoise world. That's true. However, a low-level heaven-defying artifact is not worthy of her. I will find her a higher-level heaven-defying artifact. Yi Tian transmitted his voice. That would be for the best. Then I will accept Zhang Sanbao's heaven-defying artifact. Qin Feiyang smiled and kept the sound transmission godstone. The evidence was already in his hands. Let's see how Feng Wanyan will argue. As long as you're happy. Yi Tian shook his head and laughed. Looking at Zhao Xiaojin again, after killing Zhang Sanbao, she stood in the air and looked at the sky. The sadness in her body became even stronger. Even after killing these people, the anger in her heart could not be quelled. Shua. All of a sudden, she lowered her head to look at Feng Wanyan and shouted. And you, clang. The holy radiant sword shone brightly. She grabbed the holy radiant sword and charged towards Feng Wanyan with murderous intent. Chapter 31-38. Zhao Xiaojin don't. Feng Wanyan roared in despair. Even Zhang Sanbao and the others who had comprehended the profound meaning of the laws were powerless in front of Zhao Xiaojin. Let alone him. Although he had a perfect immortal cultivation base, although he had a high-level heaven-defying divine art, he did not even comprehend a single law power. He was just an ordinary utmost powerful being. However, Zhao Xiaojin turned a deaf ear to him. Qin Feiyang, Yi Tian, and the fire dragon also looked at him coldly. The two middle-aged men guarding the divine prison did not dare to protect him now, because Zhang Sanbao and the others had already told the truth. If they still helped now, they would really be going against Yi Tian. Yi Tian was not someone a hedonistic son like Feng Wanyan could compare to. Although he was the eldest grandson of the vice leader, he himself was extremely outstanding. Even without the vice leader as a backer, with his own ability, he could still obtain respect and become a formidable person admired by the world. But Feng Wanyan could not. Without the 10th elder, he was an inconspicuous and pitiful worm that no one cared about. Clang. The holy radiant sword's divine light illuminated half the sky. The terrifying sword qi tore through the sky, and the glacier collapsed crazily. Feng Wanyan was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered, drowned by the sword qi. His entire body was instantly mangled, and he was covered in blood. He was in despair. This was a despair that he had never felt before. It was as if the death god was standing in front of him, waving at him. In the blink of an eye, just as Zhao Xiaojin was about to arrive, a strand of divine power pierced through the air like lightning, striking the holy radiant sword. With a loud crack, the holy radiant sword shattered on the spot. At the same time, that terrifying force also sent Zhao Xiaojin flying, blood gushing out of his mouth. Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned. He raised his head and saw a pale yellow figure rushing over at a speed that was difficult to catch with the naked eye. Not good. It's the 10th elder. Yi Tian transmitted his voice. 10th elder. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. He suddenly jumped out and grabbed Feng Wanyan. Feng Wanyan was excited. Once his grandfather came, who would dare to kill him? Suddenly he felt someone grab him. When he looked up, he was shocked and shouted. What are you trying to do? How dare you? The 10th elder's roar rang out at the same time. It was as deafening as thunder. Qin Feiyang coldly snorted. His big hand suddenly fell. A palm strike towards Feng Wanyan's head. Grandpa, Feng Wanyan roared in horror. But in the next moment, the roaring stopped abruptly, and Feng Wanyan's head exploded in the void like a watermelon. You're courting death, the 10th elder was seething with anger. How dare he kill his grandson in front of him? Wasn't this a blatant provocation to him? Zhao Xiaojin, Yi Tian, and the 2 guards of the divine prison were also dumbfounded. They didn't expect Qin Feiyang to be so bold. The 10th elder had personally come. Logically speaking, no matter who it was, they should give the 10th elder some face and let Feng Wanyan go for the time being. However, this person completely ignored the 10th elder's reprimand. The 10th elder rushed over aggressively, his eyes fixed on Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang's face was devoid of fear. He raised his head and calmly watched. It was a white-bearded old man, wearing a pale yellow robe. He was skinny and had deep-set eyes. His dark eyes were like a pair of snake eyes, emitting a sinister light. The 10th elder was already the top figure of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. The 2 alliance leaders, the 10th elder, of course. There might be other experts hiding. Although they might not be stronger than the 2 alliance leaders, they were at least higher in status than the 10th elder. It was just that Qin Feiyang didn't know. Whoosh! The 10th elder rushed over, his eyes flashing with killing intent. His wrinkled hand was like an eagle's claw, grabbing towards Qin Feiyang. Be careful! Zhao Xiaojin exclaimed. Swish! At the same time, Yi Tian took a step forward and stood in front of Qin Feiyang. Seeing Yi Tian suddenly appear in front of Qin Feiyang, the 10th elder's expression changed, and he immediately came to a halt. Although Yi Tian's strength was not as strong as the 10th elder, as the eldest grandson of the Vice Alliance leader, even the 10th elder had to be wary of him. Yi Tian, what are you doing? He stared at Yi Tian coldly. Yi Tian said, 10th elder, I should be the one asking you that. What are you doing? The 10th elder glanced at Qin Feiyang and said coldly, he killed my grandson. Of course I want him to die with him. Yi Tian frowned and said, why don't you ask him why he killed Feng Wanyan first? No matter what, he has to die for killing my grandson. The 10th elder shouted. 10th elder, you're an elder of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. How can you be so rude and unreasonable? There was a hint of anger in Yi Tian's expression. How dare you? You're the grandson of the Vice Alliance leader, but I'm an elder of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. You don't even have the least bit of respect in front of me? The 10th elder shouted angrily. Respect is something you have to earn yourself. Shielding and conniving is unreasonable. May I ask, how do you expect us juniors to respect you? Yi Tian said with a cold face. What a sharp tongue. Today, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your grandfather. The 10th elder took a step forward, and a terrifying divine power rolled out. Yi Tian and Qin Feiyang were immediately imprisoned. The 10th elder raised his arm and slapped Yi Tian. Do you have the right to teach my grandson on behalf of me? However, before the slap could land, a hoarse voice rang out from the void above. Following that, a green-robed old man appeared, holding a snake-shaped walking stick in his hand. There was a trace of shocking coldness in his eyes. Who else could it be but the Vice Alliance leader? The 10th elder's expression changed. The 2 burly men guarding the divine prison also suddenly changed their expressions. Greetings, Vice Alliance leader. The 3 of them hurriedly bowed. The Vice Alliance master shouted, why aren't you withdrawing your pressure? Yes. The 10th elder nodded and quickly withdrew his divine power. Qin Feiyang and Yi Tian finally regained their freedom and raised their heads to look. There was a trace of joy on Yi Tian's face. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with a bright light. He finally saw the Vice Alliance leader with his own eyes. He did not expect the Vice Alliance leader to come in person. This might be an opportunity. Because of the matter with Zhao Xiaojin's family, he and Yi Tian could be considered to be on the same side. Therefore, he could use this relationship to gradually get closer to the Vice Alliance leader. Moreover, because of this relationship with Yi Tian, he could also gain the Vice Alliance leader's trust even faster. Zhao Xiaojin also hurriedly landed beside the 2 of them. Are you alright? Qin Feiyang retracted his gaze and asked in a low voice. It's nothing serious. Zhao Xiaojin shook his head. The injury was quite serious, but it was not fatal. The Vice Alliance leader took a step forward and landed in front of Yi Tian, asking with concern, "Are you all right?" "I'm fine." Yi Tian shook his head and pointed to Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin. "Let me introduce them to you. They are Zhao Xiaojin and Mo Wuji that everyone has been talking about recently." The Vice Alliance leader looked at Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin. "Greetings, Vice Alliance leader." Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin looked at each other and hurriedly bowed. The Vice Alliance leader nodded and said indifferently, "Since Tianer chose to stand with you, then there must be something wrong with this matter. Tell me, what exactly is going on?" "Grandfather, it's like this." Yi Tian recounted everything that had happened in detail, and in full detail. "What? Zhao Eryong's family has been killed?" The Vice Alliance leader raised his eyebrows. "Their bodies are all here." Yi Tian waved his hand, and the 3 corpses appeared. The 3 corpses were originally placed on the snow. However, because the battle between Zhao Xiaojin and Zhang Sanbao was too intense, Yi Tian was afraid that the corpses would be damaged, so he temporarily kept them in the spatial divine item. Looking at the 3 corpses, Zhao Xiaojin's expression dimmed again, and an invisible sadness spread out. Yi Tian patted her shoulder, looked at the 10th elder opposite him, and said angrily, "This is what your grandson Feng Wanyun did." The 10th elder snorted. "This is just your side of the story. They were there the whole time. They heard it with their own ears." Yi Tian pointed to the 2 middle-aged men. The 10th elder and the Vice Alliance leader immediately looked at the 2 of them. The 2 of them quickly bowed and said, "At that time, Zhang Sanbao and the others indeed said so." The 10th elder stared at the 2 of them, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. The 2 of them clearly felt a murderous intent, and their faces turned pale. "10th elder, you don't have to look at them like that. They are just telling the truth to my grandfather," Yi Tian said. "Where's the evidence? Words have no proof. If you can show me evidence, I have nothing to say. If you can't produce evidence, then you are colluding with each other to harm my grandson." The 10th elder snorted coldly. "Isn't this evidence?" Yi Tian said angrily. "They were all killed by you. The dead tell no tales. Isn't it up to you to say anything?" The 10th elder sneered, looked at the Vice Alliance leader and said, "Sir, we are all reasonable people. We must show evidence of this matter. Otherwise I will report it to the Alliance leader and let him personally make the decision for me." "Are you using the Alliance leader to threaten me?" The Vice Alliance leader's eyes flashed. "I wouldn't dare. I just don't want my grandson and the others to die unjustly," the 10th elder said. The Vice Alliance leader looked at the 10th elder coldly, then turned to Yi Tian and said, "Do you have evidence?" "Grandfather, they are testifying. Isn't the evidence enough?" Yi Tian pointed at the 2 men and frowned. "Don't you think it's enough?" Before the Vice Alliance leader could speak, the 10th elder sneered. Zhao Xiaojin sent a voice transmission. "Brother Yi Tian, what should we do?" "Don't worry." Yi Tian comforted and looked at the 10th elder angrily. "The corpses are right here, and they are testifying. What else do you want? I know you are protective, but I didn't expect it to be to this extent. No matter what, you are still an elder. Can't you be more shameless?" "Vice Alliance leader, did you see that? This is the good grandson you taught. He even dares to insult me in public. I think the Rogue Cultivator Alliance has become the world of your Yi family. You are simply lawless. I must report this matter to the Alliance leader." The 10th elder roared. The Vice Alliance leader's face suddenly sank, and said gloomily, "As an elder of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, you should know what can and can't be said. Isn't that so? Yi Tian relied on you as a backer and colluded with others to harm my grandson, and now he is making a false countercharge. But as the Vice Alliance leader, not only did you not deal with it impartially, but you are also prepared to protect them. Do you think that you can control the entire Rogue Cultivator Alliance?" the 10th elder shouted. He was not afraid of making a big deal out of it, because he could see that these people did not have irrefutable evidence. At the same time, the Vice Alliance leader stared at the 10th elder, narrowed his eyes, and his face was extremely gloomy. Chapter 31-39. Sigh. Suddenly, a sigh sounded. Everyone immediately looked at the source of the sigh. It turned out to be Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang looked at the 10th elder and shook his head in disappointment. I really didn't expect that our rogue cultivator alliance would have such a shameless elder. The vice leader looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. Quite a bold little guy, daring to humiliate the 10th elder in public. At the same time, the 10th elder clenched his hands and stared at Qin Feiyang gloomily. If there is no evidence, are you going to continue to be so shameless? Qin Feiyang looked at him fearlessly. You'd better apologize to this elder right now. The 10th elder said word by word. What did I do wrong? Why should I apologize to you? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. You keep on calling me shameless. Such unrestrained behavior is enough for this elder to behead you for a great crime. The 10th elder roared. Qin Feiyang said with grievance. The point is you are shameless to begin with, and you won't let others say it? You, the 10th elder, was furious. As a person, it's important to know one's own limits. If you don't even have a little self-awareness, then do you still deserve to be called a human? It's more like being a beast. Elder, don't you think so? Qin Feiyang chuckled. Interesting. The vice leader looked at Qin Feiyang curiously. There was actually such a fearless person in the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. But it was really satisfying. As the vice leader of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, he had to take the overall situation into consideration, so he had been more polite to the 10th elder. According to his temper, if it was someone else, he would have already killed him with a slap. Now he finally felt a lot better. A junior humiliating the 10th elder like this was more exciting than him. Looking at the 10th elder again, he was already furious to the extreme, and his entire body was filled with a terrifying killing intent. It's not too late to kill him now. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. What do you mean? Silenced. Yi Tian and Zhao Xiaojin looked at each other in confusion, but their spirits were immediately lifted. Since he was so confident, could it be that he had some evidence in his hands? Looking at the gloomy 10th elder, Qin Feiyang shook his head and sighed. Elder, please open your dog eyes and look carefully. After he finished speaking, he took out the divine voice transmission stone. As a strand of divine power flowed into it, a divine light shot into the sky. Immediately, the images that had been recorded not long ago slowly unfolded in the sky. Yi Tian was slightly taken aback and sent a voice transmission. When did you record this? Obviously just before. Qin Feiyang smiled secretly. Amazing, I actually didn't think about it. Yi Tian secretly gave him a thumbs up. With this video, there would be no problem at all. Zhao Xiaojin also looked at Qin Feiyang with a face full of admiration. This move was truly ingenious. Very soon, the video ended. Qin Feiyang put away the divine voice transmission stone and looked at the 10th elder, only to see that the 10th elder's face was extremely ugly at this moment. 10th elder, if you have anything to say now, just say it, we are all ears. Yi Tian looked at the 10th elder and smiled. The 10th elder glanced at Yi Tian, and then looked at Qin Feiyang. The murderous intent in his eyes was undisguised. I'm quite scared when you look at me like that. Qin Feiyang chuckled. Yi Tian couldn't help but roll his eyes. Do you look like you're scared? Do you still want to report it to the leader now? The deputy leader also looked at the 10th elder with a sneer. This is just Zhang Sanbao's side of the story. We can't rule out the possibility that they are framing us. The 10th elder shouted, somewhat flustered and exasperated. Still quibbling. Will a person lie in the face of death? Besides, it's not one of them who said so, it's all of them who said so. Isn't that enough proof? Elder, we're all living under the same roof. We still have to maintain our dignity. Otherwise, who knows how others will talk about you behind your back in the future? Qin Feiyang chuckled. The 10th elder stared at Qin Feiyang fiercely. If looks could kill, Qin Feiyang would have been killed. Since in your opinion, this video doesn't mean anything, let's go to the leader and let him see it with his own eyes. The deputy leader said. The 10th elder's pupils contracted. What's wrong? Weren't you clamoring to report it to the leader just now? Now that we're taking the initiative to accompany you, you don't dare to do it? The deputy leader's face was full of ridicule. Okay. This matter ends here. Your name is Wuxia, right? The Hall of the Exalted is not fun. I advise you to be vigilant at all times. The 10th elder suppressed his anger and looked at Qin Feiyang gloomily. Then he turned around and left angrily. Thank you for your advice, elder. This disciple will pay attention. Qin Feiyang smiled. Hearing this, the 10th elder couldn't help but clench his fists and left without looking back. Haha, awesome. Yi Tian laughed. Thank you. Zhao Xiaojin looked at Qin Feiyang with a trace of gratitude in his eyes. If it weren't for Qin Feiyang's foresight, this matter really wouldn't have ended. It's okay. Qin Feiyang smiled. The deputy leader looked at Qin Feiyang and nodded in appreciation. Not bad, not bad. My rogue cultivator alliance is really full of talents. I don't deserve to be called a talent. Qin Feiyang hurriedly waved his hand, looking flattered. Don't be modest. From this video that you recorded, I can see that you're a meticulous young man. My rogue cultivator alliance needs talents like you. Work hard. I hope you can be like Yi Tian and become the future pillar of our rogue cultivator alliance. The deputy leader smiled hoarsely. This disciple will work hard and live up to your expectations. Qin Feiyang bowed and said, Yes. Then you guys deal with the aftermath. After saying that, the deputy leader also left. We deal with the aftermath. Qin Feiyang was stunned. There's no other way. My grandfather is such a person. He doesn't like to care about such trivial matters. Yi Tian shook his head and smiled. But how are we going to deal with the aftermath? Although Zhang Sanbao and the others are all dead, there's a good saying that the father is at fault for not teaching the son well. We can't just let it end like this. Qin Feiyang frowned. That's right. My father guarded the Kanglan Snow Mountain for countless years for the sake of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, and now he died because of these villains. If it ends like this, won't it be disappointing? Zhao Xiaojin said sorrowfully. This, Yi Tian pondered for a while and sighed. It's difficult to hold the elders responsible for the matters of the young people. Then my father and mother aren't elders? Zhao Xiaojin said angrily. Xiaojin, don't be anxious. Actually, you don't have to look for my grandfather for this matter, just look for Elder Qing and the others. Because Elder Qing and the others are not only the guardians of the 4 districts, but also the enforcers. Yi Tian said. Zhao Xiaojin said. Then let's go look for them now. You've just come out of the trial ground, and so many things have happened one after another. You must be tired. Go and rest first, then find a place to bury uncle and auntie. As for the rest, I'll personally make a trip to the 4 districts. I promise to give you a satisfactory explanation. Yi Tian stretched out his hand and tidied Zhao Xiaojin's messy hair with a smile. Bury. Zhao Xiaojin lowered her head and looked at the corpses of Zhao Eryong and the other 2 with tears in her eyes. Then I'll bring them back to the ancestral land. Yi Tian pondered for a while and nodded. Okay. Then he looked at Qin Feiyang and said, Brother Mo, I'll have to trouble you to accompany Xiaojin. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. Then I'll go to the 4 districts first. As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Tian flew towards the alliance capital. After he watched Yi Tian leave, Qin Feiyang turned to look at Zhao Xiaojin with a puzzled expression and asked, Where's your ancestral land? My ancestral land isn't at Azurewave Snow Mountain. Zhao Xiaojin shook her head. It's not at Azurewave Snow Mountain? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes. Even though I was born in the alliance capital, my Zhao clan's ancestral land is at Cloudsea City. My second uncle, eldest uncle, and other cousins are at Cloudsea City as well. It's also because of my father that my Zhao clan's Cloudsea City is one of the 3 extraordinary clans. Zhao Xiaojin said. So that's how it is. Qin Feiyang nodded with understanding. Zhao Xiaojin squatted on the ground and gazed at the corpses of Zhao Eryong and the others. She muttered, Father, mother, brother, I'll send all of you back right now. As soon as she finished speaking, she put away their corpses, turned around, soared into the sky, and flashed swiftly towards the east. Qin Feiyang teleported and chased after her like a bolt of lightning. About 2 hours later, the 2 of them arrived at the border. After Zhao Eryong was captured, the people here naturally changed. Now it was a black-robed old man who was also at the Greater Mastery Sovereign Realm. His face was old, and his eyes were gloomy. "Greetings, my lord." The two of them landed in front of the black-robed old man, and cupped their fists. "You seem to be," the black-robed old man sized them up. "Yes. We are Mo Yuanyuan and Zhao Xiaojin who have been discussed recently." Qin Feiyang nodded. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to escape?" The black-robed old man frowned. "Escape?" Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin were stunned. "If not, why did you leave Azure Wave Snow Mountain? Young people have to be responsible. If you make a mistake, you have to face it bravely and not run away. Besides, don't you care about your father and the others?" The black-robed old man looked at Zhao Xiaojin and snorted coldly. "My father and the others are already dead," Zhao Xiaojin whispered. "Dead? What's going on?" The black-robed old man was bewildered. "Senior, a lot of things happened before. We can't explain it clearly in a short time. We are now returning to the Zhao family's ancestral land to bury Zhao Eryong and the others," Qin Feiyang said. "Then you have to explain it clearly. Otherwise, this old man won't let you out." The black-robed old man shook his head. "All right." Qin Feiyang nodded and told him everything in detail. "It can't be." The black-robed old man was shocked. Qin Feiyang said, "If you don't believe me, you can send a message to the deputy leader." "Okay. I'll ask." The black-robed old man nodded, turned around, and took a step forward, disappearing without a trace. Not long after, the black-robed old man appeared again and nodded with a smile. "This old man has confirmed that it is indeed as you said. You have been wronged." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. "All right then." The black-robed old man took out a token and waved his hand. The token broke through the air and landed in the void in front of him. The barrier suddenly flickered and a crack appeared. "Go, it's a good chance to relax outside." The black-robed old man waved his hand and smiled. "Thank you, sir." Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and said, then left the barrier with Zhao Xiaojin and quickly disappeared at the end of the snow mountain. After Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin disappeared, the black-robed old man's eyes flashed with a cold smile. Chapter 3140. Ocean of Cloud City. Qin Feiyang had heard a lot about this extraordinary city, but it was the first time he'd been there. It seemed like the headquarters of Joy Heaven was located in the city, the western district of the city. A huge mansion was situated at the outskirts of the city. The mansion occupied an area of a few hundred kilometers, and it had numerous grand halls. Before the entrance to the mansion, 4 imperishable realm bodyguards stood straight and tall. There was a Qilin statue on each side, and it seemed extraordinarily mighty. There was a gorgeous plaque on it, and the words Zhao Mansion were inscribed on it. Swoosh! Suddenly, 2 figures descended before the entrance. "Who is it?" The 4 guards immediately shot their gazes towards them. Yes, they were Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin. "You are." A trace of surprise and bewilderment instantly crept up their eyes when they saw Zhao Xiaojin. "Why don't they recognize you?" Qin Feiyang was bewildered. "I rarely return to the ancestral grounds. Even if they recognize me, they don't have a deep impression of me." Zhao Xiaojin spoke softly. "Is that so?" Qin Feiyang nodded. "I'm Zhao Xiaojin." Zhao Xiaojin gazed at them as she spoke. "Zhao Xiaojin?" They were slightly stunned, and then they hurriedly asked, "Are you that eldest young miss who lives in the Alliance capital?" "That's me." Zhao Xiaojin nodded. "No wonder you look familiar. Eldest young miss, please come in." One of the guards hurriedly went forward to welcome her, and then he gazed at the other guard and shouted, "Quickly report this to the patriarch." "All right." Hearing this, the other guard immediately ran inside. When Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin entered the mansion with the guard, it didn't take long for a group of people to arrive. They were led by 2 middle-aged men, and they seemed to be around the age of 40. One of them was an initial stage ruler, while the other was a quasi-ruler. There was a group of maidservants and servants behind them, and the guard who'd gone to report was amongst them. "It really is Xiaojin." The 2 middle-aged men gazed at Zhao Xiaojin, and their faces were instantly filled with joy. "Eldest uncle, second uncle." Zhao Xiaojin hurriedly stepped forward and bowed. All right. Last night, I was still dreaming about your family. I didn't expect it to really come true. You're back today. Where are your father, mother and Zhao Yang? They didn't come back together. The two of them were overjoyed. They looked behind Zhao Xiaojin and asked. They? Zhao Xiaojin's face immediately darkened. When the two of them saw Zhao Xiaojin's reaction, their eyelids twitched and they asked, Did something happen? Let's go to the main hall first. Zhao Xiaojin glanced at the maids and servants behind them and smiled faintly. All right. The two of them nodded and turned around to lead Zhao Xiaojin and Qin Feiyang forward. About 100 breaths later, the four of them arrived in front of a magnificent palace. Zhao Xiaojin glanced at the main hall and walked in first. Qin Feiyang was about to follow him in, but Zhao Xiaojin's eldest and second uncles suddenly stopped him. Qin Feiyang looked at the two of them suspiciously. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle said apologetically, Be careful, this is the meeting hall of the Zhao family. Outsiders are not allowed to enter. It's okay, he's my friend, Zhao Xiaojin said. The two of them looked at each other and stopped Qin Feiyang. They smiled and said, I'm sorry we've offended you. It's okay. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and entered the main hall. The main hall was very spacious, and the decorations were quite luxurious. Go and prepare tea. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle looked at the maid beside him and said something before following him into the main hall. No need. The others are waiting outside, Zhao Xiaojin said. Hearing this, Zhao Xiaojin's eldest and second uncles looked at each other and felt more and more uneasy. They waved to the maids and servants and closed the door of the main hall. Little Jean, what exactly happened? The two of them walked in front of Zhao Xiaojin and frowned. Zhao Xiaojin sighed. With a wave of his hand, the corpses of Zhao Eryong and the other two appeared. The two of them froze. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle bent down and stared blankly at the bloody corpses of the three. Xiaojin, what's going on? Who killed them? All of a sudden, he raised his head and stared at Zhao Xiaojin, roaring with bloodshot eyes. Zhao Xiaojin remained silent. Hurry up and tell me, Zhao Xiaojin's second uncle urged. He also looked like he was about to crack his teeth. They died in the hands of the 10th elder's grandson, Zhao Xiaojin said. 10th elder? The two of them were slightly stunned and asked, Which 10th elder? The 10th elder of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, Zhao Xiaojin said. What? Why did his grandson kill third brother? Their expressions changed abruptly. Zhao Eryong was ranked third, so they called him third brother. However, Zhao Eryong was born with better talent than them. Coupled with the fact that he had joined the Rogue Cultivator Alliance and received good resources, his cultivation was stronger than theirs. It's all in the past. Let's not talk about it. Help me prepare a burial for them. Zhao Xiaojin sighed. Why didn't you mention it? Even if he's an elder of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, he can't kill the innocent. Xiaojin, tell big uncle and second uncle honestly. Did your father do something wrong that brought about his death? The two of them said. No. Zhao Xiaojin shook her head. Don't ask anymore. Just do as she says and let her be quiet for a while. Qin Feiyang sighed. But the two of them frowned. Don't worry, the grandson of the 10th elder and his accomplices have already died in our hands. Zhao Eryong and the others have also been avenged. Qin Feiyang said. They're already dead. What's the use of taking revenge? That's right. Even if we take revenge, can they still be resurrected? The two of them lamented. They can't be resurrected, but they won't die in peace, Qin Feiyang said. Sigh. The two of them sighed and turned to look at Zhao Xiaojin. Xiaojin, have a good rest. You don't have to worry about third brother and the others. We'll arrange it. With that, the two of them opened the door and left quickly. Zhao Xiaojin waved her hand and closed the door. She looked at Qin Feiyang and said, I still can't accept it. Then what do you want? Qin Feiyang asked. I want the 10th elder's life. Zhao Xiaojin said word by word, her eyes full of resentment. Qin Feiyang was taken aback. He muttered to himself, this isn't impossible. Zhao Zhao Xiaojin immediately looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. However, you have to work hard and cultivate to reach the 10th elder's level first, Qin Feiyang said. Hearing this, Zhao Xiaojin suddenly felt helpless. The 10th elder was a peak figure in the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. His strength was unfathomable. It would be difficult to catch up to him. You have to believe in yourself. You can do it. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Can I really do it? Zhao Xiaojin looked at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang didn't answer. He sat in front of the table and lowered his head in silence. Seeing this, Zhao Xiaojin sighed and said, "It seems that you don't have much confidence in me." "No. I'm thinking about whether I should help you." Qin Feiyang shook his head and waved his hand. A soundproof barrier appeared. "Help me?" Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. She suddenly remembered Qin Feiyang's identity. If Qin Feiyang used the sovereign divine weapon, wouldn't it be easy to kill the 10th elder? Don't think too much. Although I have a sovereign divine weapon, it's not something I can control. Besides, revenge is more meaningful if you do it with your own hands. The help I'm talking about is increasing your potential and comprehension. Qin Feiyang said. Increasing my potential and comprehension? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. How could such a thing be possible? Your father is also my subordinate. I do have a duty to help you. However, some things are too important. I have to consider it carefully and see if you are worthy of my trust. Qin Feiyang said. You can trust me, Zhao Xiaojin hurriedly said. As long as she could increase her potential and comprehension, as long as she could catch up to the 10th elder, she would do anything. Really? Qin Feiyang looked at her. I swear on my parents' souls. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. Qin Feiyang looked deeply at Zhao Xiaojin and said, Okay, after dealing with your father's funeral, follow me to the Black Tortoise world. Okay. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. Although Qin Feiyang didn't say how to help her increase her comprehension and potential, the confidence in Qin Feiyang's brows made her not doubt it. At the same time, outside, Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle and second uncle were walking side by side, and their faces were covered in sorrow and worry. Big brother, our Zhao clan was able to gain a foothold in Ocean of Cloud City in the past because of third brother. Now that third brother has been killed, it's equivalent to us losing our backing. What would our Zhao clan do in the future? Zhao Xiaojin's second uncle sighed. I'm worried as well. I never expected that Xiaojin would return with such bad news. I can't figure it out. How did they offend such a terrifying existence like the 10th elder? Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle shook his head. Yes. Do you think people like us can afford to offend someone at this level? Alas. Our Zhao clan's future is worrying. Let's not talk about losing third brother for now. Let's talk about the 10th elder. Third brother's family offended the 10th elder. Moreover, according to what that fellow said, they even killed the 10th elder's grandson. If the 10th elder is really a vengeful person, then he will probably drag us down with him in the end. Zhao Xiaojin's second uncle sighed. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle's gaze instantly shook when he heard this, and he spoke in a low voice. I hadn't thought of that. Now that you've mentioned it, it really is bad. So we have to think of a way. Why don't we take the core disciples of the clan with us once we bury third brother and the others, conceal our identities and leave the city? Zhao Xiaojin's second uncle spoke softly. Leave the city? Then what about our huge estate? Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle frowned. Why bother about the estate now? Staying alive is more important. Zhao Xiaojin's second uncle exclaimed. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle's face changed indeterminately, and he shook his head. I'm truly unable to give up on such a huge estate. However, we can hide for now and lay low until the situation changes. If it really doesn't work out, then we'll conceal our identities. Zhao Xiaojin's second uncle pondered deeply for a moment, and then he nodded. All right, then it's decided. Yes. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle nodded. Both of you are very sensible. Just as the two of them finished speaking, a cold laugh suddenly sounded from the void beside them. Who is it? Both of them were shocked, and they hurriedly swept their gazes towards the side. Yet they weren't even able to see a shadow. End of this chapter. Chapter 3142. Schwa. Just as the two of them were bewildered, a middle-aged man suddenly appeared beside them. This person was about 1.8 meters tall and had a slender figure. He wore a golden robe with an extraordinary golden dragon embroidered on it. City Lord. Their eyes trembled as they immediately bowed and kowtowed. Greetings, City Lord. Yes. Let's talk somewhere else. The golden-robed man nodded. With a wave of his hand, the three of them immediately disappeared without a trace. 3 days later, in the morning, Zhao Eryong and the other two were buried. However, the Zhao family did not make this matter public. This was Zhao Xiaojin's idea. He wanted to leave quietly. There was no need to make a fuss. Moreover, this was also out of consideration for the future of the Zhao family. She also knew that her father was the pillar of the Zhao family. If the news of her father's death were to spread, it would definitely have a great impact on the Zhao family. Therefore, only the direct members of the Zhao family knew about this. Even the servants were kept a secret. At night, in a certain hall, a group of people sat around a table. The leader was Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle and second uncle, followed by their wives and children. Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin were also sitting at the table. The large round table in front of them was filled with all kinds of dishes and jugs of wine. There were a total of more than 20 people. They were all dressed in plain white clothes with sad expressions. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle swept his gaze across everyone, stood up and sighed. Third brother's death is the pain of our Zhao family, but there is a good saying, the dead cannot be brought back to life. Our condolences. That's right. The second uncle also stood up and forced a smile, saying, I believe that third brother doesn't want to see us so sad even in the underworld. As he spoke, he raised his wine glass and looked at everyone. All of you stand up, hold the wine and toast their undead. The Zhao family all stood up and held their wine glasses, including Zhao Xiaojin. Qin Feiyang looked at everyone and also stood up with his wine glass. Originally, he was an outsider and shouldn't be sitting here. But there was nothing he could do. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle and second uncle were too enthusiastic. No matter what, he had to sit down and drink a few cups. Since the other party thought so highly of him, he naturally couldn't refuse. Thus, he stayed behind to accompany Zhao Xiaojin. Third brother, rest in peace. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle roared in grief and indignation. He raised his head and drank. Third brother, we'll take good care of little Jean for you. Don't worry. Zhao Xiaojin's second uncle let out a howl of grief. With tears in his eyes, he raised his head and drank the cup. The other members of the Zhao family were. Everyone's face was filled with sorrow. Seeing. Have a seat. Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle smiled and poured another cup. He looked at Qin Feiyang and said, Little brother, thank you for taking care of Xiaojin in the Alliance capital. You are Xiaojin's friend. So you are also a friend of the Zhao family. In the future, the Zhao family's door will always be open for you. I'll drink first as a toast. After saying that, he held the wine glass with both hands and drank it in one gulp. Friends should help each other. There's no need to be so polite. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. He also poured himself a cup and drank it. Good. It's Xiaojin's fortune to have a friend like you. Zhao Xiaojin's second uncle nodded in relief and said with a smile, Let me toast you too. You're welcome. Qin Feiyang smiled and drank another cup. Zhao Xiaojin looked at the three of them and stood up. You guys eat slowly. I'll go sit outside. What's wrong? Her eldest uncle and second uncle looked at her suspiciously. I want to be alone for a while, Zhao Xiaojin said. All right then. Don't go too far. The two of them looked at each other and nodded. Yes. Zhao Xiaojin replied and walked outside. Crack. But at this moment, Qin Feiyang's body suddenly swayed. The wine glass in his hand fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. Zhao Xiaojin immediately stopped and looked at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang's face quickly turned pale, and his lips turned black. There was even a trace of blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. The blood was actually black. Seeing this scene, Zhao Xiaojin's expression suddenly changed. She quickly went forward to support Qin Feiyang and asked, What's wrong with you? At this moment, Qin Feiyang felt weak all over, and a tearing pain came from his soul. There was also a trace of surprise in his eyes. But soon, his target was the broken wine glass. A terrifying thought crawled up in his mind. There was poison in the wine, and this feeling of being poisoned was very familiar. It seemed to be spirit-severing powder. You poisoned me. Suddenly, he looked up at Zhao Xiaojin's uncle and said angrily, "Poisoned." The moment he said that, everyone was shocked. Everyone at the table was so scared that they immediately threw away the wine glasses in their hands. They all stood up and looked at the two of them in shock. Uncle, what's going on?" Zhao Xiaojin also looked at the two of them with a puzzled expression. The two of them were silent as they sized up Qin Feiyang. Pooh. Suddenly, Zhao Xiaojin also spat out a mouthful of blood. Her body swayed and fell to the ground powerlessly. Her lips and blood were also black. It's really poisonous. She looked at the wine glass that she had just drunk from, her eyes filled with shock. Why was there poison in the wine? Qin Feiyang looked at Zhao Xiaojin's appearance, then looked at the rest of the Zhao family. Whether it was Zhao Xiaojin's uncle or their wives and children, none of them were poisoned. In other words, only he and Zhao Xiaojin were poisoned. This was specifically targeted at them. Moreover, judging from their previous reactions, their wives and children did not know about it. In other words, the people who poisoned them were Zhao Xiaojin's uncle and uncle. Uncle, say something. Zhao Xiaojin roared. The two of them looked at each other. The smile on their faces disappeared and was replaced by coldness. Then they slowly stood up. "Father, what's going on? Why are they the only ones poisoned and we're all fine?" A young man asked in surprise. He was one of Zhao Xiaojin's uncle's sons. Zhao Xiaojin's uncle said, "Because only their wine glasses are poisoned." "Only their wine glasses are poisoned? Then who poisoned them?" "It can't be you guys." Everyone looked at the two of them. "It's us." The two of them nodded. "Why? Xiaojin, she's our family." A woman looked at the two of them and said angrily, "Shut up." The two of them berated, and then looked at Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin. "Xiaojin, don't blame us. We're also trying to protect the Zhao family. If you don't die, the Zhao family will be finished. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself. You've offended someone we can't afford to offend." The two of them shook their heads. "Offended someone we can't afford to offend?" Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered and said in a deep voice, "Are you talking about the 10th elder?" "That's right. The person who wants to kill you is the 10th elder." The two of them nodded. Bastard. He's the one who killed your brother. You're actually helping him to harm us? I'm your niece. My father is your brother. He was just buried and his body is not cold yet. You're treating me like this. Do you still have any humanity left?" Zhao Xiaojin roared weakly, her eyes filled with pain. She had just lost her family, and now even her closest relatives wanted to harm her. Her heart ached. "We have to protect the Zhao family, so don't blame us." The two of them shook their heads. Haha. At this moment, accompanied by loud laughter, a golden-robed man pushed open the door of the hall and strode in. "The city governor?" Zhao Xiaojin's pupils constricted. "He's the city governor of Ocean of Clouds City?" Qin Feiyang was surprised and bewildered. "That's right." Zhao Xiaojin nodded. "Greetings, city governor." Zhao Xiaojin's uncles hurriedly stepped forward and bowed. "Well done." The city governor nodded with a smile, and then he gazed at Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin before he shook his head and said, "The two of you could have offended anyone, but you chose to offend the 10th elder. Aren't you courting death? You arranged all of this?" Zhao Xiaojin spoke furiously. "Yes. I had no choice. It was the 10th elder's orders. I had to do it." The city governor said, "You bastard. Don't you remember that my father helped you all those years ago? If it wasn't for my father, how could you have become the city governor of Ocean of Cloud City?" Zhao Xiaojin roared furiously. "Little niece, you don't have to mention that on purpose. Your father has done me a favor, but I've taken care of your Zhao family all these years, so we're even." The city governor smiled coldly. "My father was really blind. Zhao Xiaojin had a sorrowful expression on his face. He really was blind. Otherwise, how could he have offended the 10th elder? The city governor laughed coldly, and then he gazed at Zhao Xiaojin's uncles and said, "Kill them." "We'll kill them?" Both of them were stunned. "If it wasn't the two of you, then could it be me? To tell you the truth, this is the 10th elder's test for the two of you. If the two of you don't attack, then it means that the two of you aren't truly loyal to the 10th elder. Do the two of you know what the consequences will be?" The city governor laughed coldly. Their gazes shook. "Conversely, so long as the two of you kill Zhao Xiaojin with your own hands, then it proves that the two of you are on the same side as us, and will naturally take care of your Zhao family in the future. We'll even allow your children to enter the alliance capital." The city governor said. "Enter the alliance capital." Both of their eyes were instantly filled with joy, and then they exchanged glances and looked at Zhao Xiaojin at the same time. "Xiaojin, your death is worth it to be able to obtain a bright future for the Zhao family. I won't forgive the two of you even if I become a ghost." Zhao Xiaojin looked at the two of them with resentment. "Then I'll make sure you don't even have the chance to become a ghost." A cold light flashed in their eyes as they took a step forward. One of them charged towards Qin Feiyang, while the other charged towards Zhao Xiaojin. What a wonderful performance, but the best part is yet to come. Just wait and see. Qin Feiyang glanced at the three of them and transmitted his voice. "Fire Lotus, quickly save us." He could enter the Black Tortoise realm himself with just a thought, but Zhao Xiaojin couldn't because he couldn't move and couldn't grab Zhao Xiaojin. Therefore, he could only ask Fire Lotus for help. Swish. Just as Zhao Xiaojin's uncle and second uncle were about to attack, Fire Lotus suddenly appeared. When she saw the situation of Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin, her expression immediately changed. Following that, she grabbed Qin Feiyang with one hand and Zhao Xiaojin with the other, and disappeared without a trace. The two of them were stunned and immediately released their divine sense. However, the city governor didn't panic at all. He even sat on a chair calmly. "There's a spatial divine item. Quickly seal the main hall." Zhao Xiaojin's uncle and second uncle quickly locked onto the Black Tortoise realm. "There's no need for that." The city governor waved his hand. "What?" The two of them looked at the city governor in shock. The city governor waved his hand, and a golden barrier immediately appeared in the void outside the main hall. Chapter 3143. The two were bewildered. This city lord had long expected that they might escape into the space divine object, so before coming in, I set up a barrier in advance. The city lord smiled faintly. "Lord City Lord is brilliant." The two looked at each other and smiled in admiration. Just two little brats who are still wet behind the ears. How can they escape from this city lord's palm? The city lord's face was full of pride as he looked at the void and said indifferently, "Come out, since you are already poisoned. You will still die if you hide in the space divine object, why bother?" Black Tortoise World. Devil's Land. Fire Lotus brought Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin to the hall of the ancient castle. She immediately looked at a cultivation room and shouted, "Madman, it's a matter of life and death. Quickly come out." "What's the situation?" Madman ran out of the cultivation room, and when he saw the situation of Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin, his expression changed greatly. "I don't know." Fire Lotus shook her head. She really didn't know what was going on, because she had been cultivating and didn't pay attention to the situation outside. Madman walked in front of Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin, and after checking for a bit, he raised his eyebrows and said, "This seems to be spirit-severing powder." Spirit-severing powder. Fire Lotus was shocked. Of course she knew about this thing. When Zhuo Tiansheng wanted to murder Qin Feiyang and Madman, he used this deadly poison. "Don't worry, this thing can't stump me." Madman smiled in disdain. Evil force appeared and poured into Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin's bodies. At this moment, the recovery that filled their bodies was swallowed by the evil force. About a moment later, the poison was finally removed. The expressions of the two eased a lot. "What's going on with you? You were actually plotted against again?" Madman looked at Qin Feiyang with ridicule. Qin Feiyang stood up and moved his body. He glanced at Zhao Xiaojin, who had a painful expression, and shook his head. If it were you, you would also be plotted against. What do you mean? Madman was suspicious. Qin Feiyang briefly explained the situation. No way. Madman and Fire Lotus looked at each other. Her own uncle actually colluded with his enemy to murder his own niece? When they came back to their senses, the two of them looked at Zhao Xiaojin with a trace of sympathy in their eyes. First, his family members had died an unnatural death, and now, he was betrayed by his loved ones. This blow was probably not small. I will settle this score with them. Qin Feiyang snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, an image appeared in the void. On the screen, the city lord was still sitting on the chair calmly. Zhao Xiaojin's first and second uncles used their divine senses to lock onto the Black Tortoise world. As for the others, they were gathered in a corner of the hall, and they seemed to be at a loss for what to do. This sudden change was completely out of their expectations, so they still hadn't gotten used to it yet. The city lord waited for a while before grabbing a wine flask on the table and taking a small sip. He smiled and said, "Are you really not coming out?" "City lord, if you ask them to come out now, they definitely won't dare to come out. Who knows, they might have already died in the spatial divine item." Zhao Xiaojin's first and second uncles sneered. "That makes sense. Then let's destroy the spatial divine item. There must be their accomplices inside, and there might be more than one or two. Kill them all," the city lord said indifferently. "Yes." The two of them responded respectfully. At the same time, they took a step forward. Their eyes flickered with cold light as they attacked the Black Tortoise world. At the same time, when Zhao Xiaojin saw this scene, his expression immediately changed. He exclaimed, "Not good, let's run." Run. Qin Feiyang and the other two were stunned. They are all sovereign realm experts. How can your spatial divine item withstand their attacks? If we don't run, are we going to wait for death? Zhao Xiaojin said anxiously. Haha. Madman suddenly laughed loudly. Qin Feiyang and Fire Lotus also had a trace of a smile in their eyes. What? Did I say something wrong? Zhao Xiaojin looked at the three of them suspiciously. You didn't say anything wrong. Ordinary spatial divine items can't withstand their attacks. But this place isn't an ordinary spatial divine item. With their cultivation, even if there are 800 of them, they won't be able to destroy it. Madman smiled disdainfully. Really? Zhao Xiaojin didn't believe it. Boom. Before he finished speaking, the two people outside threw a punch. However, Zhao Xiaojin, who was standing inside the ancient castle, didn't feel the slightest bit of shaking. At this moment, she looked outside the ancient castle with a dull expression. What kind of spatial divine item is this? Even sovereign realm experts can't shake it. Let me tell you, not to mention these trash. Even a perfect sovereign realm expert who has grasped the space-time law can't kill his way in. Madman's face was full of disdain. He looked at Qin Feiyang and said, I've already helped you get rid of the poison. The rest is up to you. I'll continue my seclusion. With that, he walked into the cultivation room without looking back and closed the stone door with a bang. Then I'll leave first. Fire Lotus looked at Qin Feiyang and smiled. Qin Feiyang nodded. Fire Lotus smiled at Zhao Xiaojin and turned to leave the ancient castle. What do they mean? They don't seem to be worried at all. Zhao Xiaojin looked at this scene with a depressed expression. What kind of people are these? It's not a big deal. There's no need for them to stay here. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. This isn't a big deal? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. Calm down, calm down. Qin Feiyang comforted her, and then lowered his head to ponder. As for the city lord and the Zhao family outside, he couldn't be bothered to pay attention to them. Seeing this, Zhao Xiaojin was speechless to the extreme. After living for so many years, she had never seen such a calm person. And there was more than one. Outside. At this moment, Zhao Xiaojin's big uncle and second uncle were both shocked. It actually didn't shatter? A trace of surprise appeared in the city lord's eyes as he stood up and personally took action. But it was still unable to shake the Black Tortoise realm. One must know. After the Black Tortoise realm fused with the ancient castle, Its strength was equivalent to a Dominator divine weapon. With their strength, how could they break it? It was simply a pipe dream. It seems that this city lord has underestimated them. But the 10th elder didn't say that they have such a powerful spatial divine object. The city lord frowned. Then what should we do now? Zhao Xiaojin's big uncle and second uncle were at a loss. What are you afraid of? The two of them have their bodies broken and their souls scattered. They will definitely die. Now, I'm very interested in this spatial divine object. A trace of greed appeared in the city lord's eyes. In the ancient castle, Qin Feiyang suddenly raised his head to look at a cultivation room and said, Dan Wangkai. The stone door opened and Dan Wangkai walked out. Zhao Xiaojin also raised his head and looked at Dan Wangkai suspiciously. His entire body was filled with the fragrance of pills. He was obviously an alchemist. Suddenly, Zhao Xiaojin seemed to have thought of something as he looked at Qin Feiyang and said, I heard that you have 7 dragon-shaped divine pills. Yeah, is there a problem? Qin Feiyang nodded and looked at her in confusion. When Frenzy and Yi Yuan were fighting, the 7 dragon-shaped divine pills had already been exposed, so it was no longer a secret. Zhao Xiaojin pointed at Dan Wangkai and said, These pills, could it be that he was the one who refined them? And Qin Feiyang nodded. Amazing. Zhao Xiaojin looked at Dan Wangkai in admiration. Looking at his age, he seemed to be younger than her, but he was actually able to refine such a level of divine pills. What am I good at? The truly powerful one is the young master. Dan Wangkai shook his head. Him. Zhao Xiaojin pointed at Qin Feiyang again. Young master's talent in alchemy is top-notch. Compared to young master, I'm not even 1/10 of him. Dan Wangkai laughed. It can't be you're also an alchemist? Zhao Xiaojin looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. Don't I look like one? Qin Feiyang was taken aback. No, you don't. Zhao Xiaojin shook her head. She didn't have the aura of an alchemist at all. That's right, because I haven't touched a pill furnace for a long time. As for Dan Wangkai's words, it's too exaggerated. In the past, I was indeed above him, but now, I'm far inferior to him after being neglected for so long. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. Then why did you neglect it? Zhao Xiaojin was suspicious. No matter where they were, alchemists were respected. Other alchemists couldn't wait for everyone in the world to know that they were alchemists. But this person clearly had talent in alchemy, and his talent wasn't ordinary, but he actually neglected it. With him around, do I still need to refine pills? Qin Feiyang glanced at Dan Wangkai and said with a smile. Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. What kind of reason was this? Dan Wangkai was an alchemist. Was there a conflict with Qin Feiyang refining pills? There shouldn't be a conflict. You refine yours, I'll refine mine, everyone working hard together. Isn't that good? Wait a minute. Suddenly, Zhao Xiaojin understood. This was a kind of absolute trust. Qin Feiyang trusted Dan Wangkai and believed that Dan Wangkai wouldn't betray him. So he gave up on refining pills and trained Dan Wangkai with all his strength. In fact, she didn't know. It wasn't as complicated as she thought. Trust was definitely a must. As for not liking alchemy, it was purely because Qin Feiyang was afraid of trouble. Qin Feiyang didn't explain and looked at Dan Wangkai with a smile. Give me all the pills that can open the door of potential. You are. Hearing this, Dan Wangkai couldn't help but glance at Zhao Xiaojin. Qin Feiyang nodded. But Dan Wangkai frowned. Although the Sky Cloud Realm also had pills that could open the door of potential, it was only the Shangqing Nature Pill. If he were to take out the potential pill now and help Zhao Xiaojin open the door of potential, if Zhao Xiaojin were to leak it out, it would definitely bring them a fatal disaster. It's fine. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. Dan Wangkai took a deep look at Qin Feiyang and nodded. All right, I'll go refine it right away. After saying that, he turned around and returned to the cultivation room. What did you just say? Pills that can open the door of potential. Zhao Xiaojin looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. Yes. Didn't I say it earlier? To help you improve your perception and potential, the only way to improve your perception and potential is to open the door of potential. Qin Feiyang nodded. So it's like that. Zhao Xiaojin suddenly realized and then said, However, I heard from my father that the Shangqing nature pill is useless. She didn't know that there were other pills that could open the door of potential, so she naturally thought that Qin Feiyang was asking Dan Wangkai to get the Shangqing nature pill. Chapter 3144. My elixir is different from the Shangqing creation elixir. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Different? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. What did he mean? Qin Feiyang did not explain further. He sat on the chair in the hall and waited quietly for Dan Wangkai. A moment later, Dan Wangkai finally walked out with an exquisite jade box in his hand and handed it to Zhao Xiaojin. Zhao Xiaojin took the jade box suspiciously and looked at Qin Feiyang. Open it. Qin Feiyang smiled. Zhao Xiaojin took a deep breath and her eyes were filled with anticipation. Then, she slowly opened the jade box. When the jade box was opened, a dazzling divine light surged out. It was the light of a dragon-shaped elixir. Each elixir had a total of 7 dragon-shaped elixirs. The rich medicinal fragrance instantly filled the entire hall of the ancient castle. This is the first time I've seen an elixir with 7 dragon-shaped elixirs. Zhao Xiaojin mumbled. What you hear may be false, but what you see is true. This person is indeed amazing. With his attainments in alchemy, even if he entered the demonic hall or the itinerant cultivator alliance, he would receive the best treatment. However, this person was willing to follow Qin Feiyang. What kind of charm does Qin Feiyang have? Zhao Xiaojin could not help but glance at Qin Feiyang with an inexplicable glow in her eyes. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, Dan Wangkai, tell her how to use these elixirs. Okay. Dan Wangkai nodded and took out a potential elixir from the jade box. He smiled and said, Miss Xiaojin, this is a potential elixir. It can open the door to the potential of a martial artist, martial master, and martial ancestor. What? Open the door to the potential of a martial artist, martial master, and martial ancestor? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. Dan Wangkai took out another potential elixir and said with a smile, This is to open the battle monarch, battle emperor. Wait a moment. Zhao Xiaojin hurriedly said. What? Dan Wangkai looked at her suspiciously. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I really can't help it. Are you sure that this pill can unlock the potential of a martial artist, martial master, and martial ancestor? Zhao Xiaojin grabbed a potential pill and looked at Dan Wangkai in disbelief. Of course. Dan Wangkai nodded. But, how is this possible? I've heard that there are medicinal pills in the world that can open the gates of potential. However, it is said that these pill recipes were all recorded in the first volume of the Alchemy Canon. However, the first volume of the Alchemy Canon has long been lost. In fact, whether or not the first volume of the Alchemy Mantra even exists is another matter. Could it be that you developed these medicinal pills by yourself? Zhao Xiaojin was bewildered. Dan Wangkai turned to look at Qin Feiyang. Zhao Xiaojin also looked at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang looked at Zhao Xiaojin and said with a faint smile, You don't have to worry about that. All you need to know is that these pills can indeed help you open the door to your potential. Zhao Xiaojin wanted to say something but hesitated, because she suddenly remembered that Qin Feiyang had asked her if she could be trusted. At that time, she was still a little confused. But now when she saw these pills, she finally understood. It turned out that Qin Feiyang was referring to these pills. In other words, the existence of these pills was a taboo. Since it was a taboo, he naturally could not ask further. Qin Feiyang looked at Dan Wangkai and said with a smile, Continue. Dan Wangkai nodded, looked at Zhao Xiaojin and slowly explained the usage of all the pills. Soon, after he finished explaining, he smiled and said, As for the situation of the Shangqing creation pill, you already know, so I won't explain it in detail. Now prepare to open the door of potential. All right. Zhao Xiaojin nodded, and immediately sat cross-legged on the ground. Qin Feiyang swept his gaze across the ancient castle and said with a smile, Ancient castle, release your aura and help her. Boom. A wisp of pressure immediately emerged from the ancient castle and enveloped Zhao Xiaojin. Although it was only a wisp of pressure, as a dominator divine weapon, it was not something that Zhao Xiaojin could withstand. Zhao Xiaojin suddenly felt as if she was about to suffocate. What a strong pressure. Could this be the legendary Dominator divine weapon? She scanned the castle, her eyes filled with shock. Don't let your imagination run wild. Quickly consume the potential pill. Dan Wangkai shouted. Okay. Zhao Xiaojin replied repeatedly. After calming herself down, she took out a potential pill and placed it in her mouth. Outside, the city lord had been thinking of a way to break through the Black Tortoise realm. But even after exhausting all his methods, the Black Tortoise realm showed no signs of breaking. This made him unable to help but feel annoyed. At the same time, the desire in his heart became even stronger. Similarly, Zhao Xiaojin's uncle and uncle could not help but feel greed in their hearts. Even the city lord is unable to break through. This spatial divine object has at least reached the level of a legendary heaven-defying divine artifact. I think so too. However, the city lord is obviously determined to win. We can't beat him, so we can only watch helplessly. The two of them communicated secretly. Suddenly, the city lord looked at the two of them and said with a frown, "The two of you." Ah! The two of them thought that the city lord had seen through their thoughts and looked slightly flustered. Immediately pass down my order. Tell everyone in Wuxia City to evacuate the city immediately. The city lord spoke. Evacuate the city? The two of them were stunned. That's right. I want to use the heaven-defying divine artifact to split it open. The city lord's eyes flickered. City lord, you can't. We've all heard of your heaven-defying divine artifact. It's a peak-level heaven-defying divine artifact. If it fully recovers, Cloud Sea City will be instantly reduced to ashes. Their expressions changed drastically. That's why I asked you to pass down my order to have everyone withdraw first. The city lord said. But the two of them frowned. The city lord shouted. Do you need me to repeat myself? No need. The two of them hurriedly waved their hands. Zhao Xiaojin's uncle hesitated again. But, speak. The city lord was extremely impatient. If Cloud Sea City is really razed to the ground, I think it will definitely reach the 10th elder's ears. When he asks about it, how will we explain it? Zhao Xiaojin's uncle said nervously. You really reminded me. We really can't let him know about this. Otherwise he'll definitely blame me. After all, even he doesn't have such a powerful spatial divine artifact. The city lord pondered for a moment, and his eyes gradually lit up as he said with a smile. I've already thought of an idea. What idea? The two of them were curious. When the time comes, we'll say that Mo Yuan and the others also have a heaven-defying divine artifact. In order to avoid harming the innocent people, we asked everyone to evacuate the city in advance. As for the destruction of the city, we'll say that before Mo Yuan and the others died, they wanted to perish together with us and revive the heaven-defying divine artifact. The city lord said. City lord, you're brilliant. Both of their faces were filled with admiration. Go quickly. Your Zhao family should hurry up and pack up as well. We must complete the mission before dawn. After the mission is completed, you'll also be rewarded. The city lord chuckled. Yes. The two of them nodded respectfully. The city lord waved his hand, and the people of the Zhao family immediately appeared outside the hall. Black Tortoise Realm. Zhao Xiaojin's gate of potential had all been opened, including the gate of potential of the undead realm. This made her extremely excited. In the past, she didn't even dare to think about opening one gate of potential, let alone opening all the gates of potential. This felt like a dream. Dan Wangkai, take her to my house to wash up. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. The ancient castle had already retracted its pressure. Dan Wangkai walked in front of Zhao Xiaojin and said with a smile, Miss, let's go. Okay. Zhao Xiaojin got up and quickly followed Dan Wangkai out of the ancient castle. Not long after, the two of them returned to the ancient castle. Zhao Xiaojin changed into a clean set of clothes, and she looked full of energy. How do you feel? Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. I feel very good. It's as if I've been reborn. The most obvious thing is the power of law. In the past, there were many things that I didn't understand, but now that I think about it a little, I seem to understand it. Zhao Xiaojin was overjoyed. This is the improvement of potential and comprehension. This is all I can help you with. You'll have to rely on yourself for the rest. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. It's enough. Thank you. Zhao Xiaojin bowed to Qin Feiyang, then looked at Dan Wangkai and said, Thank you too. It's nothing. All right, I'll continue to refine pills. You guys chat. After saying that, Dan Wangkai turned around and entered the cultivation room, closing the stone door. Does he only know how to refine pills? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. You're right. Other than refining pills, he's not interested in anything else. Even if it's cultivation, I have to force him. Qin Feiyang shook his head helplessly. No wonder his attainments in alchemy are so high. Zhao Xiaojin nodded in realization. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, Now let's talk about it. How do you plan to deal with the Zhao family? Zhao Xiaojin's face darkened as she sat across from Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang had already brewed a pot of tea. He poured a cup of tea from the teapot and pushed it in front of Zhao Xiaojin. Zhao Xiaojin ignored it and lowered her head in deep thought. Qin Feiyang did not disturb her and drank his tea quietly. A short while later, Zhao Xiaojin looked up at Qin Feiyang and said, If it's up to you, you'll definitely kill them, right? Yes. Qin Feiyang did not deny it. He did not like to cause trouble, but he was never afraid of it, especially those who wanted to harm him. If there were no special circumstances, he would not let them go. The so-called special circumstances, such as Zhuo Tiansheng. There was no other way. After all, Madman and Zhuo Xiaoxian were together. Moreover, other than being ruthless, Zhuo Tiansheng was not bad in other aspects. I knew it. But I'm a little confused. Zhao Xiaojin sighed. I understand. It happened too suddenly. I haven't recovered yet. There's no rush. You can think about it slowly. But this city lord of Cloud Sea City, what kindness does your father have for him? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. This matter started when they were young. At that time, my father had a very good relationship with him. According to my father, when this person was young, he was proud and arrogant and offended many people. Once he accidentally offended someone from the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Although this person was only an ordinary member of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, he still had the Rogue Cultivator Alliance backing him. So he found someone to kill him. At that time, my father had just joined the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. When he found out about this, he immediately went to apologize. That person saw that my father was also a member of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance and his attitude was so good, so he did not look for trouble with the city lord. Later on, it was also because of my father that he joined the Rogue Cultivator Alliance and became the current city lord of Wind Sea City. Zhao Xiaojin said. I see. Qin Feiyang came to a sudden realization. That's why I feel very uncomfortable. My family was harmed, my relatives betrayed me, and even my father's friends turned against me. I haven't done anything outrageous in my life. How did I end up being betrayed by my family? Zhao Xiaojin's face was filled with anger. This is life. Many times, many things are not what we can predict. The only thing we can do is to face it bravely, work hard to break the shackles of fate, and live our own lives. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Live your own life, Zhao Xiaojin muttered, and her eyes gradually became firm. She bowed and said, Thank you, Qin Dage, for your guidance. I will work hard. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. It seemed that he would have another sister. However, his sister seemed to be older than him. Chapter 3145. Zhao Xiaojin looked at the city lord on the screen and frowned slightly. She asked, Then how do we escape? This is easy to solve. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Easy to solve? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. In her opinion, this was practically impossible because the city lord was a perfect dominator. Moreover, he had a heaven-defying divine artifact. Unless Qin Feiyang used a dominator divine artifact. However, Qin Feiyang had personally said that the dominator divine artifact wasn't something he could control. Therefore, they couldn't count on the castle. Besides the castle, what other methods did Qin Feiyang have? A heaven-defying divine artifact? That's right. Qin Feiyang did have many heaven-defying divine artifacts, but they were only at the pinnacle level. Although a pinnacle-level heaven-defying divine artifact could rival a dominator, it was still a long way from a perfect dominator. Could it be that Qin Feiyang wanted to use numbers to win? However, even if he had more than a dozen heaven-defying divine artifacts, he might not be able to break through the city lord's barrier. You don't have to worry about this. Think about it carefully. Do you want to return to the Alliance capital after leaving Cloudsea City? Qin Feiyang stood up and smiled. If you see it, you have to go back, Zhao Xiaojin said without hesitation. Qin Feiyang was slightly surprised. He thought that Zhao Xiaojin would be afraid and not dare to return to the Alliance capital. However, he didn't expect that she wouldn't even hesitate. Aren't you afraid that the 10th Elder will continue to take revenge on you? Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. I am. However, as the saying goes, the most dangerous place is the safest place. Outside, the 10th Elder can kill us without fear. However, in the Alliance capital, with the Vice-Alliance Master and Alliance Master, he will more or less restrain himself, Zhao Xiaojin said. You can even think of this. Not bad. Qin Feiyang nodded. Are you kidding? I'm not stupid, okay? Zhao Xiaojin pouted. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, Then you can rest here for a while. I'll make arrangements for our departure. Okay. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. It just so happened that she wanted to be alone for a while. No matter how strong she was still a woman after all. After so many things had happened, her heart must have reached its limit. Being alone for a while could more or less relieve some stress. After leaving the castle, Qin Feiyang went straight to the madman's courtyard. Of course, he wasn't looking for a lunatic. Because Madman was in the castle, the person he was looking for was Zhuo Xiaoxian. He sensed Zhuo Xiaoxian's aura before he even entered the residence. There was a hint of surprise in his eyes. Zhuo Xiaoxian's aura had already reached the half-step undead realm. As a matter of fact, Zhuo Xiaoxian was very talented. It was just that she hated cultivation because of her family. Xiaoxian. Qin Feiyang entered the courtyard, stood downstairs and shouted. A short while later, Zhuo Xiaoxian ran out from her room on the second floor, stood on the balcony, and said with a grin, Qin Dage, what brings you here today? Why do you have time to visit me? Southwest wind. Qin Feiyang let out a smile. He leapt and landed in front of Zhuo Xiaoxian, then said with a smile, How rare, you've started cultivating. Everyone is trying their best to cultivate. If I only know how to play all day long, wouldn't I be too weird? Zhuo Xiaoxian shook her head. Actually, a girl needs to be strong too, because at least when you're in danger, you should be able to protect yourself. I'm not here to have a chat. I'm looking for your father and foster father. I have something to discuss with them. Qin Feiyang said. Sure. I'll send them a message. Zhuo Xiaoxian nodded, and took out the sound-conducting godly stone. However, a moment later, Zhuo Tianxing did not respond. What's going on? Zhuo Xiaoxian frowned and sent a message to her foster father. In the end, her foster father did not respond either. Strange. Could something have happened to them? Zhuo Xiaoxian could not help but feel worried. That won't happen. If something did happen, they would definitely send us a message right away. Maybe it's not convenient to talk to us now. Let's wait and see. Qin Feiyang smiled. Okay, I'll make you a pot of tea first. After saying that, Zhuo Xiaoxian turned around and ran to the first floor. Looking at Zhuo Xiaoxian's back, Qin Feiyang could not help but smile. Sensible and obedient. It was lunatic's blessing for such a woman to fall in love with him. Then, he sat on the reclining chair next to him. On the balcony, there were 2 reclining chairs made of bamboo strips and a simple round table. When he had nothing to do, lying here, basking in the sun, drinking tea, and looking at the scenery of the Devil's Land was also a kind of enjoyment. After a while, Zhuo Xiaoxian walked up with a teapot and teacups. The tea leaves were naturally the Tianxian dew that Fire Lotus personally cultivated. The rich tea fragrance spread for thousands of miles. Zhuo Xiaoxian asked curiously. Qin Dage, I heard that you brought another young lady? Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded and asked, What's wrong? Nothing, I'm just a little curious. What's her name? Where is she from? Zhuo Xiaoxian was confused. Her name is Zhao Xiaojin. Her ancestral home is in Cloud Sea City, and she lives in the Alliance capital. She has encountered a lot of things recently, thus she's in a bad mood. If you're free, please talk to her for me. Qin Feiyang said. What is it? Zhuo Xiaoxian was confused. As Qin Feiyang sipped his tea, he briefly recounted what had happened to Zhao Xiaojin over the past few days. How pitiful. Zhuo Xiaoxian shook her head. I know, right? Qin Feiyang let out a sigh. Buzz. At that instant, Zhuo Xiaoxian's voice transmission godly stone echoed. It's father. Zhuo Xiaoxian took it out and read it. Her face was filled with joy as she activated the voice transmission godly stone. Following this, 3 illusionary figures appeared. They were Zhuo Tiansheng, Elder Yu, and the City Lord. What were you doing just then? You're ignoring me. Zhuo Xiaoxian glanced at them with a displeased look. Girl, do you think everyone is as carefree as you are? Zhuo Tiansheng rolled his eyes at Zhuo Xiaoxian and asked, Why are you looking for us? It's Qin Dage who's looking for you. Zhuo Xiaoxian turned the voice transmission godly stone around and faced Qin Feiyang, who was sitting opposite her. It's been a few hundred years since we last met. How are you doing? Qin Feiyang let out a smile. Zhuo Tiansheng said with a smile. We're doing great. How about you? How's your progress in the Alliance? I've been staying in the Alliance for a few hundred years, and I've passed the trial. I'm preparing to enter the Hall of the Exalted. Qin Feiyang let out a smile. No way you've passed the trial? The 3 were astounded. Isn't it normal for Qin Dage to pass the trial? Zhuo Xiaoxian interrupted. The 3 were slightly startled, before they nodded with a wry smile. That's true. Speaking of the Hall of the Exalted, I do recall something. Qin Feiyang, do you know someone called Mo Wuji and Zhao Xiaojin? The City Lord asked. Yes, why? Qin Feiyang nodded and looked at the 3 suspiciously. 3 days ago, the 10th Elder sent us a message, asking us to look for someone called Mo Wuhui. I heard that this Mo Wuhui is Mo Wuji's elder brother. The 2 of them and this Zhao Xiaojin seem to have offended the 10th Elder, and are preparing to take revenge on them. The City Lord said. I see. Qin Feiyang nodded and asked, Then do you know Zhao Xiaojin? Of course. Zhao Xiaojin's father is called Zhao Eryong. Every time we enter the Alliance, he's the one who opens the barrier for us. Over time, we've become familiar with each other. The City Lord nodded. Then, do you know about Zhao Eryong's death? Qin Feiyang asked. He's dead? The 3 were surprised. It seems that the news hasn't spread yet. That's right. He's been killed. As for the Mo Wuhui you found, he's actually senior crazy. Qin Feiyang smiled. What? It's actually little crazy. The 3 were stunned. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Zhuo Tiansheng was stunned. If that little crazy is Mo Wuhui, then aren't you Mo Wuji? Yes. That's our name in the Alliance. As for Zhao Eryong, to tell you the truth, he's already following me. So his death made me very sad. Because of this, Zhao Xiaojin is also in my Black Tortoise world. But now, we've encountered some trouble and I need your help. Qin Feiyang said. I didn't expect this to be related to you. The City Lord took a deep breath and asked, Help you with what? Now we're trapped in the Zhao family's residence in the Cloud Sea City. The City Lord is personally overseeing this place. I need your help to break the barrier so that I can leave. Qin Feiyang said. Aren't you in the Alliance? Why are you trapped in the Cloud Sea City? The 3 were puzzled. It's like this. Qin Feiyang recounted everything that had happened in detail. So that's how it is. The 3 were enlightened. We definitely won't refuse to help you. But we know the City Lord of the Cloud Sea City. Moreover, this is the order of the 10th Elder. How can we help? The City Lord frowned. That's right. If we help you, the 10th Elder won't let us go. Besides that, there's another troublesome matter. Zhuo Tiansheng said. Troublesome matter? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes. Zhuo Tiansheng nodded. He looked at Qin Feiyang and said, This person has a legendary grade heaven-defying artifact. What? A legendary grade heaven-defying artifact? Qin Feiyang was shocked, and then his expression froze as he hurriedly said, Wait, Why did I hear Zhao Xiaojin's eldest uncle and second uncle say that he possesses a peak-grade heaven-defying divine artifact? Previously in the castle, although he was helping Zhao Xiaojin open the door of potential, he had been paying attention to the situation outside. Therefore, he heard the conversation between the city lord and Zhao Xiaojin's big uncle and second uncle. At that time, the two of them were indeed talking about a peak-grade heaven-defying artifact. It's just an illusion. Zhuo Tianxing shook his head. Illusion? Qin Feiyang was stunned. That's right. Zhuo Tianxing nodded and asked again. You should know the 4 super cities of the eastern continent, right? Yes. These 4 super cities are Wind Sea City, Cloud Sea City, Sky Sea City, and East Sea City. Qin Feiyang said. Yes, these are the 4 super cities. And the city lords of these 4 super cities actually have a legendary grade heaven-defying artifact. Zhuo Tianxing said. All of them? Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned. Then he looked at Zhao Xiaojin's foster father and asked, Then you have one too? Chapter 3146. Of course. The city lord nodded with a smile. Tisk tsk. I've never seen a legendary grade divine artifact before. Qin Feiyang looked envious. Kid, you're making fun of me, aren't you? You even have a sovereign divine weapon. Why would you be envious of my legendary artifact? The city lord rolled his eyes. I'm not joking, I'm really envious. Qin Feiyang chuckled. He couldn't control the ancient castle at all, so if he had a legendary artifact, he might not be invincible, but he could at least protect himself. The city lord glared at Qin Feiyang in annoyance and said, Although we 4 city lords all possess legend-rank heaven-defying divine artifacts, we only tell others that they are peak-rank heaven-defying divine artifacts. Why hide it from the public? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. On one hand, it's to guard against the demon palace, and on the other hand, it's to keep a low profile. The city lord smiled. Low profile? Qin Feiyang pursed his lips. He really couldn't tell. The city lord said. So it's very difficult to touch the city lord of Cloud Sea City. Who said we're going to touch him? I just want you to help me escape. You just have to help me break the barrier. As for the city lord of Cloud Sea City, I'll slowly settle the score with him in the future. Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with coldness. Just escape? The 3 of them were stunned. If that was the case, it would be very simple. At that time, they could just change their appearance, run to Cloud Sea City, break the barrier, and leave. Who would know it was them? Okay. I'll make a trip there myself. You should also get ready. Once the barrier is broken, leave immediately. The city lord looked at Qin Feiyang and smiled. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. The city lord was also a perfect sovereign, so it would be easy for him to break the barrier. Okay, I'll go now. After the city lord finished speaking, the figure disappeared. Qin Feiyang let out a long breath and looked at Zhuo Xiaoxian. I still don't know your foster father's name. My foster father is Lu Zhengyuan. Zhuo Xiaoxian replied. Lu Zhengyuan. Qin Feiyang murmured and asked curiously. Does he not have a family? No. I heard from my adoptive father that his parents died when he was young. He has been alone since he was young. Zhuo Xiaoxian said. Then why didn't he marry and have children? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. I heard from my father that when foster father was young, he had a woman. However, for some unknown reason, the 2 of them separated. From then on, foster father never found another woman. Zhou Xiaoxian shook her head. I see. It seems that your adoptive father is also a man with a story. Qin Feiyang smiled. Yes. Zhuo Xiaoxian nodded. It would take a long time to travel from Wind Ocean City to Cloud Ocean City. Therefore, Qin Feiyang was not in a hurry. After chatting with Zhuo Xiaoxian for a while, he returned home to spend time with the mermaid princess. Zhuo Xiaoxian also went to find Zhao Xiaojin. However, Qin Feiyang had told her not to tell Zhao Xiaojin about the Black Tortoise world for the time being. Outside, the people of Cloud Ocean City were moving in a hurry. Although they did not know what was going on, it was an order from the city governor's estate. They did not dare to disobey. Late that night, the huge Cloud Ocean City became an empty city. Everyone gathered outside the city and looked at the city from afar. Their eyes were filled with bewilderment. What was going on? Everyone was actually asked to leave the city. Late that night, the Zhao family, Zhao Xiaojin's eldest and second uncles, returned to the main hall. They looked at the city governor and said respectfully, "My lord, everything has been arranged." "You're quite efficient." The city governor chuckled. "My lord, how could we dare to neglect your orders?" Both of them smiled obsequiously. "All right, you two leave the city as well." The city governor waved his hand. "Yes." Both of them replied respectfully. Although they wanted the Black Tortoise world and were very unwilling, they did not dare to act rashly in front of the powerful city governor. They turned around and tore through the sky. Around 100 breaths later, the city governor stood up slowly. His divine sense was firmly locked onto the Black Tortoise world. He smiled and said, "I'll give you one last chance. Come out and accept your death, and I'll leave your corpses intact." But a short moment passed, and no one answered him. Stubborn fools. The city governor's face instantly turned cold, and he instantly appeared outside the barrier and stood in the air above the main hall. After that, divine energy surged out and covered the heavens and the earth as it surged towards the surroundings. In just a few breaths of time, another enormous divine energy barrier appeared. This enormous barrier enveloped the entire city. He'd done this to further prevent Qin Feiyang from escaping with the Black Tortoise world. Because once he awakened the heaven-defying legendary artifact, then the barrier that trapped the main hall would be destroyed. Once the barrier was destroyed, then Qin Feiyang would naturally be able to escape with the Black Tortoise world. So he wanted to prevent that from happening. Look, quick. That's the city governor's barrier, right? Why did he set up such a huge barrier? The people outside the city had puzzled expressions on their faces. The only ones who knew about it were the members of the Zhao family. Clang! In the air above the main hall. After he finished setting up the barrier, the cold smile on the city governor's face grew even wider. He waved his hand, and a 1m long sword appeared. The long sword was completely black, and it emanated a terrifying sharpness. This was his legendary heaven-defying divine artifact. "Now, even if you take the initiative to beg for mercy, I won't give you a chance." He laughed sinisterly, grabbed the black sword, and appeared in the main hall with a single step. He slashed at the Black Tortoise world. Dazzling flames immediately erupted from the collision in the air. A terrifying aura erupted. The main hall was shattered, and the barrier collapsed. The entire Zhao family was razed to the ground. However, at the same time, the city governor's body shook, and he staggered back repeatedly. Cracks also appeared on the blade of the black longsword in his hand. How is this possible? His face was instantly filled with disbelief. Originally, he was full of confidence. After all, it was a legendary artifact. But he never expected that it would be him who was blasted back by the terrifying impact. Not only was his arm numb, but the blood in his body was also surging. What level of spatial artifact was that? His heart was filled with shock. At the same time, the greed in his eyes grew even stronger. "Awaken!" He roared furiously. Clang! The black sword immediately started to awaken. A terrifying aura instantly surged out in all directions from the Zhao family. Rumble! Crack! Along with a series of loud bangs that shook the heavens and the earth, the halls and houses collapsed one after another like the ears of wheat in a field. In just an instant, the prosperous ocean of Cloud City had been reduced to nothingness. The barrier that enveloped the entire city trembled violently and warped from the impact of the aura. The city governor was a perfect ruler. The might of a legendary artifact was equivalent to a perfect ruler. However, a fully awakened legendary artifact couldn't be underestimated. After all, the barrier was only formed from divine energy and wasn't enhanced by any divine techniques. A small barrier wouldn't be able to resist it at all. For example, the barrier outside the main hall had instantly collapsed. However, the barrier was large enough to envelop the entire city. Moreover, it was common knowledge that the fluctuations of battle would gradually weaken with distance. In other words, when the black sword's aura spread outside the city, its might had weakened greatly. So the barrier set up by the city governor was barely able to resist the aura and prevent it from shattering. So long as the barrier didn't shatter, then Qin Feiyang wouldn't be able to utilize the Black Tortoise world to escape the city in the blink of an eye. Slash. As the black sword awakened, the city governor roared fiercely, and the black sword slashed down towards the Black Tortoise world once more. Clang. Flames appeared once more. The city governor was blasted back once more. The black longsword in his hand shattered into pieces with a kacha sound. He fell into shock as he gazed at the fragments of the sword that fell to the ground. It was actually so terrifying. What powerful fluctuations! Who is the city governor fighting? Even though the barrier was sealed off, the people outside the city could still sense the terrifying aura. A middle-aged man was standing silently within the crowd. He was around 40 years old, had an ordinary appearance, and didn't possess a strong aura. He was Zhao Xiaojin's adoptive father, Lu Xingyuan. However, he'd changed his face to an unfamiliar one, and he'd intentionally concealed his cultivation. Lu Xingyuan laughed bitterly as he gazed at the madly warping barrier. This kid was simply a scourge. No matter where he went, he would cause a big mess. Swoosh. A moment later, he flashed out from the crowd and charged towards the barrier. The others immediately gazed at Lu Xingyuan with surprise and bewilderment. What's he trying to do? Bang. A monstrous aura erupted as Lu Xingyuan slapped his palm against the barrier with all his might. What a formidable aura. He seems to be a peak sovereign. Shit. Flee. Once the barrier shatters, the fluctuations of the battle will charge out from within. If we don't flee quickly, then we'll all be finished. Someone suddenly roared furiously. In an instant, everyone turned around and fled with terror. But in an instant, only Lu Xingyuan remained here. A bright glow flashed through Lu Xingyuan's eyes as he slammed his palm against the barrier, and then powerful divine energy surged out from his palm. Crack! Along with a deafening explosion, the barrier shattered into pieces. Sure enough, at the instant the barrier shattered, the waves of energy sealed within it surged out with overwhelming force. Enormous mountains collapsed madly while the ground shattered. It was like the end of the world had arrived. Those who fled were still fleeing, and they felt extremely fortunate in their hearts. Fortunately, they'd fled in time, otherwise, they would have probably perished. However, in that way, they had no idea what the city governor of Ocean of Cloud City was doing. Because they were too far away, even sovereigns were unable to see the situation within the city clearly. At the same time, the city governor, who was in a daze, suddenly raised his head and looked towards the barrier. Why has the barrier shattered? The dignified city governor of Ocean of Cloud City actually bullied a junior. Aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by the world? Lu Xingyuan's voice resounded. Of course. His voice had changed, so the city governor didn't know who he was at all. Who are you? The city governor looked towards the source of the voice, and a vicious expression instantly crept up between his brows when he saw Lu Xingyuan, who stood outside the city. I'm someone you can't afford to offend. Lu Xingyuan laughed coldly, and then he paid no further attention to the city governor. He just turned around and flew away. You're courting death. The city governor was furious. He was just about to pursue Chen Shi when his expression suddenly changed, and he hurriedly released his divine sense to scan the surroundings. End of this chapter. Chapter 3147. Where's the spatial treasure? Damn it. He roared and immediately released his divine perception, and it surged towards the surroundings. But it didn't take long. He'd captured the Black Tortoise world in the west. But at this moment, the Black Tortoise world had flashed out of the city. Let's see where you can run to. The city governor roared explosively once more, and then he pursued like a bolt of lightning. Lu Xingyuan couldn't help but turn around when he heard the city governor shout, and then he frowned slightly. The barrier had been destroyed, so it shouldn't be difficult for Qin Feiyang to escape with his ability. Swoosh. Right when Lu Xingyuan was considering whether he should keep the city governor busy, Qin Feiyang appeared in the sky outside the city. Qin Batian appeared with him. However, Qin Batian had changed his appearance as well. After all, Qin Batian had appeared in Wind Ocean City. If others saw his true appearance, then Qin Feiyang's identity would definitely be exposed. You're actually still alive. The city governor's eyes opened wide when he saw Qin Feiyang appear. My life is very tough. Even the heavens don't dare to take it, let alone you. As I said before, the best part is yet to come. Just wait and see. Qin Feiyang laughed coldly. Qin Batian opened up a spatial passageway as well. After that, both of them turned around and walked into the spatial passageway without looking back. That's the laws of space. The city governor's eyes opened wide with rage as he charged madly towards the spatial passageway, and his face was covered in disbelief. He'd never imagined that someone who possessed the laws of space would actually be by Qin Batian's side. However, the spatial passageway had vanished by the time he caught up. Damn it! Damn it! After expending so much effort, not to mention obtaining the Black Tortoise World, he hadn't even been able to kill Qin Feiyang. If the 10th Elder found out that Qin Feiyang had escaped right under his nose, then the 10th Elder would absolutely not let him off. There's still him. The city governor thought of Lu Xingyuan. But when he turned around, Lu Xingyuan had already disappeared without a trace. In this situation, there was only one sentence that could be used to describe him. It was like drawing water with a sieve. Outside Tianfeng City. Ancestor, your space-time law is really useful. When will you explain it to me? Let's see if I can comprehend the space-time law as well. Qin Feiyang looked at Qin Batian enviously. Sure. Qin Batian nodded and smiled. Naturally, he would not hide anything from Qin Feiyang. Moreover, he also believed that with Qin Feiyang's potential and comprehension ability, he would definitely be able to comprehend even more laws. All right. I'll look for you when I enter the Hall of the Exalted. Qin Feiyang laughed mischievously. Yes. Although I've never met this 10th Elder before, I can tell from his actions that he's not someone to be trifled with. You have to be careful. Qin Batian reminded. I will. Qin Feiyang nodded and then asked, when will you be able to comprehend the 5th profundity of the space-time law? Don't mention this. Whether it's me or Brother Xingyang, we're both stuck at this step. It's not an exaggeration to say that it's hundreds or thousands of times more difficult than the 4th profundity. Qin Batian shook his head and sighed. There's no rush. Take your time. For this kind of thing, the more anxious you are, the harder it will be. Qin Feiyang consoled. Do I still need you to comfort me? Just take good care of yourself. Qin Batian smiled faintly. All right. Qin Feiyang nodded and sent Qin Batian to the Black Tortoise World. At the same time, he took Zhao Xiaojin out of the Black Tortoise World. Where is this? Zhao Xiaojin looked around suspiciously. This is near Tianfeng City. Qin Feiyang smiled. So we've already escaped? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. How did you do it? Zhao Xiaojin's eyes were filled with curiosity. Although only half a day had passed in the outside world, a few hundred years had passed in the Black Tortoise World. With Zhuo Xiaoxian's guidance, he had already walked out of his sorrow. Since you already know Zhuo Xiaoxian, you should be able to guess my relationship with her father and her adoptive father. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. I see. Zhao Xiaojin nodded in realization. Then he looked at Qin Feiyang with a serious expression and said, Qin Dage, I don't care about anything else, but you mustn't implicate Zhuo Tiansheng and the others because I don't want Xiaoxian to suffer the pain of losing her family like me. I know. Besides, only you know my relationship with them. Qin Feiyang smiled. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Zhao Xiaojin promised solemnly. I believe you. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. What about now? Are we still going back to the Alliance capital directly, or? Zhao Xiaojin asked. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and said with a smile. You go back to the Alliance capital first. I'll stay outside to take care of some things. When I'm done, I'll go back. What's the matter? Zhao Xiaojin was puzzled. It's a small matter. Qin Feiyang smiled. Zhao Xiaojin's face darkened as he said unhappily. Do you think I'm so easy to fool? Tell me honestly, are you going to take revenge on Wu Sanyuan? Wu Sanyuan was the city lord of Winxi City. Why would I look for him? I don't have that ability now. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. It's good that you know. All right then, I'll go back first. Be careful. Zhao Xiaojin reminded. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. Zhao Xiaojin opened an altar. Wait. Qin Feiyang called out to her again. What's wrong? Zhao Xiaojin turned to look at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and said, You'd better send a message to Yi Tian and ask him to pick you up. Why? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. Don't you think that all of this is too much of a coincidence? A cold light flashed in Qin Feiyang's eyes. What's too much of a coincidence? Zhao Xiaojin was a little confused. We encountered such a thing as soon as we arrived at the Zhao family. When I sent a message to Zhou Tianxing and the others, I heard that the 10th elder had already given the order to search for senior brother Madman 3 days ago. 3 days ago, wasn't that the day we left the Alliance capital? But think about it. Who knew that we left the Alliance capital that day? Qin Feiyang said. It seems that only Big Brother Yi Tian knew. You mean Big Brother Yi Tian betrayed us? Zhao Xiaojin was surprised. Yi Tian definitely wouldn't. You've also neglected another person. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. Who? Zhao Xiaojin asked. The black-robed old man who replaced your father to guard the Kingland Snow Mountain. Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Xiaojin was slightly stunned and nodded. I really didn't think of him. As long as he and Yi Tian know that we left the Alliance capital, then it must be this person. If I'm not wrong, this person should be the 10th elder's man. At that time he didn't believe us and wanted to find someone to confirm it. I think the person he found should be the 10th elder. Qin Feiyang sneered. I really didn't expect him to be the 10th elder's lackey. Zhao Xiaojin's eyes flickered with a cold light. Fortunately, Qin Feiyang thought of this. Otherwise, if he ran back like this, it would be tantamount to walking into a trap. So let Yi Tian come and pick you up. With Yi Tian accompanying you, let alone him, even the 10th elder won't dare to do anything to you. Qin Feiyang said. Okay. Zhao Xiaojin nodded and then said, When you return to the Alliance capital, be careful. Send me a message and I'll let Big Brother Yi Tian come and pick you up. During these years in the Black Tortoise world, they had already established a contract. Don't worry. If this person is really the 10th elder's eagle claw, I won't let him live for too long. Qin Feiyang sneered. Hearing Qin Feiyang's words, Zhao Xiaojin didn't have the slightest doubt in his heart. He felt that as long as it came from this man's mouth, then it could definitely be done. After Zhao Xiaojin left, Qin Feiyang stood in the void and muttered with his head lowered. He stayed outside for the time being, because he wanted to deal with Wu Sanyuan. In his dictionary, there was no such thing as a gentleman taking revenge even after 10 years. If someone dared to kill him, he would immediately counterattack. Without saying anything else, he would at least collect some interest. Wu Sanyuan. Qin Feiyang sneered and took out a facial restoration pill to restore his true appearance. If he wanted to take revenge on Wu Sanyuan, it wasn't appropriate to use the identity of Mo Yuanyuan. Because of this identity, his hands and feet were tied. If he wasn't careful, he might even expose his identity. Therefore, he might as well reveal his true form and go all out in the open. Shua. With a thought, the white-eyed wolf and the madman appeared. What now? The madman stared at Qin Feiyang unhappily. Couldn't he just let him cultivate in peace for a while? We've disappeared for so many years. If we don't cause a ruckus, I'm afraid everyone will forget about us. Qin Feiyang laughed. Cause a ruckus? The madman and the white-eyed wolf looked at each other and immediately looked at Qin Feiyang with interest and asked, What ruckus? Weren't you not interested? Qin Feiyang said indifferently. Spit it out. The madman rolled his eyes. This. Qin Feiyang moved to the side of the man and the wolf's ears and muttered. The madman and the white-eyed wolf's eyes were gradually filled with a sly smile. Ocean of Cloud City. Early in the morning. The fluctuations of the battle had calmed down. However, the desolate ground would definitely not be able to recover in a short period of time. The people who'd withdrawn from the city had returned. Moreover, they were working together to rebuild the city under the lead of the city governor's estate. On a huge mountain far away from the city, Wu Sanyuan stood by himself at the peak of the mountain with a transmission stone in his hand, and a yellow-clothed old man floated in the air before him. Wu Sanyuan had his head lowered, and his face was covered in terror. The yellow-clothed old man was the 10th elder. At this moment, the 10th elder stared at Wu Sanyuan with an extremely gloomy expression. You actually failed even with the assistance of the Zhao clan. I've never seen anyone more useless than you. A short while later, the 10th elder couldn't help but roar furiously. Elder, spare me. I can't do anything about it. Mo Wuyuan has too many companions. One of them isn't weaker to me, and the other has even grasped the laws of space. Wu Sanyuan shuddered and hurriedly knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. You're still trying to deny it. How am I supposed to trust you in the future if you can't even accomplish such a trivial matter? The 10th elder spoke with a gloomy expression on his face. I deserve death. Elder, please show mercy. I'll definitely serve Elder wholeheartedly from today onward. Wu Sanyuan kowtowed incessantly, and he didn't seem to have any dignity at all as a city governor. If it weren't for the fact that your cultivation is still decent, I would have really killed you. Stand up. The 10th elder grunted coldly and spoke indifferently. Thank you, Elder, for sparing my life. Wu Sanyuan was overjoyed and hurriedly stood up. Don't interfere in the matter between Mo Wuyuan and Zhao Shaojin. Your current mission is to find that fellow, Mo Wuhui. Remember, you must find him. If you can't even accomplish that, then there's really no point in keeping you alive. The 10th elder laughed coldly. I'll definitely do it. Wu Sunyuan's gaze trembled as he hurriedly nodded. All right then, I'll wait for your good news. After the 10th elder finished speaking, the illusory image quickly dissipated. Wu Sanyuan finally heaved a sigh of relief. He wiped off his cold sweat and put away the divine sound transmission stone. His face was full of worry. Although he managed to keep his life, the next task was giving him a headache. The eastern continent was so big, where was he going to find Mo Wuhui? Wasn't this like finding a needle in a haystack? Damn Mo Wuyuan, damn Mo Wuhui. If there's a chance, I'll definitely chop you brothers into pieces and feed you to the dogs. The more he thought about it, the more irritated and annoyed he became. In the end, he couldn't help but roar towards the sky. Chapter 3148. 3 days passed. With the help of everyone in the city, the reconstruction of the city was completed. The scale wasn't inferior to before. After all, the people in the city were basically at the imperishable realm. Even a large family like the Zhao family had a sovereign realm expert. For a powerhouse of this level, building a city was a piece of cake for him. However, the layout of the new city didn't change. For example, the Zhao family was still located on the outskirts of the Western District, and the area of the mansion was the same as before. The city was built, and all the shops and restaurants were reopened, showing a bustling scene. But now, what everyone was discussing the most was who Wu Sanyuan was fighting with that night. Who was the person who destroyed the barrier? Early morning. The sun rose slowly, and everything gradually recovered. East City Gate. 2 men and a dog walked over from afar. The dog was a large black and gray dog. Its fur was dirty as if it hadn't bathed for decades, and it was emitting a foul smell. The men were 2 middle-aged men. They looked ordinary and were relatively sloppy. The 2 men and the dog walked to the city gate. What's that smell? In front of the city gate, people twisted their noses and looked around. Soon, their gazes locked onto the big dog, and their eyes were full of disdain. What are you looking at? Have you never seen such a handsome dog? The big dog's bell-like fierce eyes stared at everyone. Handsome? Handsome? People were speechless. Why don't you go take a piss and look at yourself? Handsome? Don't you have any shame? I'm not convinced. The big dog shouted unscrupulously. So what? I've seen shameless people, but I've never seen someone as shameless as you. It's just a beast. What's there to be arrogant about? Everyone immediately attacked together, all of them talking at once, their saliva flying everywhere. Fuck, are you looking for death? The big dog flew into a rage. Ahem. The 2 men at the side coughed and glared at the big dog. Then they looked at the crowd and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, everyone. When we go back, we'll definitely discipline this damn dog." Everyone looked at the two men with even more disdain in their eyes. Sure enough, like master, like pet. They are all equally sloppy. Hurry up and take your dog away. Don't smoke us here. My nose hurts. Everyone twisted their noses, their eyes filled with disgust. All right. The two burly men nodded. Then, they fled into the city with their dogs. The city guards also had a look of disgust on their faces. They didn't even bother to interrogate them. Because of Wu Sanyuan's order to search for Mo Wu Hui, all the major city gates were strictly checked. However, because the dog was too smelly and the two men were not eye-catching, the guards automatically ignored them. After entering the city, the two of them and the dog became the center of attention no matter where they went. Everyone stayed far away from him. Soon, two people and one dog stopped in front of a restaurant. The people going in and out of the restaurant immediately pinched their noses and walked around them. "What are you doing? Hurry up and leave. Don't affect our business." A shop assistant ran out and shouted with a look of disdain. Big Dog's face darkened, and he said angrily, "Now even the shop assistants are looking down on people. Who are you calling a dog? I'm telling you, don't cause trouble here. Our Tianyue restaurant is not a place where you can stay." The shop assistant shouted angrily. "That's right. This was the Tianyue restaurant. What? Do you think we can't afford it? Let me tell you, we have so many divine crystals and soul stones that we can smash you to death. Hurry up and prepare a good private room for us. Treat us well. Otherwise, Tianyue restaurant will have to bear the consequences." Big Dog was extremely arrogant. "Yo, you'll have to bear the consequences." The shop assistant shouted and shouted. "Men, chase them away immediately." As soon as he finished speaking, two burly men in black ran out. These two men looked exactly the same. Obviously they were twins. Their cultivation was also not bad. They were both in the perfection imperishable realm. "Please leave." The twin brothers looked at the big dog and the two middle-aged men beside it, and said expressionlessly, The two middle-aged men looked at each other with a trace of surprise in their eyes. When did these two men appear in the Tianyue restaurant? Although the perfection imperishable realm was not as powerful as the sovereign realm, they could still be a deterrent. "We're just here to have a meal and drink some wine. Can't we do that? You don't welcome us because we're dirty. When did the Tianyue restaurant become so snobbish?" The two middle-aged men were dissatisfied. "It's not that we don't welcome you. It's because your presence may affect other guests, so please understand." At this moment, a beautiful figure walked out and looked at the two men and the dog with a smile. It was a woman with a thin veil on her face. Her delicate facial features were faintly discernible. Her white dress was spotless, and her figure was exquisite. That's right. She was the woman who claimed to be ugly Yueqing. "Greetings, building master." The shop assistant and the twin brothers bowed. Yueqing nodded and looked at the two men and the dog. She smiled and said, "How about this? The Tianyue restaurant has a VIP room for guests to rest. You can go wash up first." "Thank you, building master." One of the burly men cupped his hands and smiled. "Take them there." Yueqing looked at the shop assistant and said with a smile, "Yes." The shop assistant nodded and looked at the two men and the wolf. He said coldly, "Follow me." The two men and the wolf looked at each other, and followed the shop assistant into the restaurant, and went upstairs. "What's this smell? Building master, does your Tianyue restaurant allow anyone to enter?" Suddenly, an arrogant voice sounded. The two men and the wolf were stunned. They turned their heads and saw a purple-clothed young man enter the restaurant with two attendants. Immediately, one of the middle-aged men revealed a trace of a smile in his eyes. "What's wrong?" The other man and the big dog looked at him suspiciously. "I've seen him before. He's a son of Zhao Xiaojin's uncle." The middle-aged man transmitted his voice. "That's right. The two men and the dog were Qin Feiyang, lunatic, and the white-eyed wolf." "We bumped into the Zhao family so soon?" Lunatic and the white-eyed wolf were stunned. "What's the saying? If it's fate, We'll meet even if we're 1,000 miles apart. This means that we're fated to meet the Zhao family. Qin Feiyang smiled secretly. What are you looking at? That's the young master of the Zhao family, Zhao Xiaoqian. We can't afford to offend him. Let's go. The shop assistant looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf and urged them. We can't afford to offend him? The two men and the wolf smiled. They were here for the Zhao family and city lord Wu Sanyuan. Now that they met him, of course, they couldn't let him go. It's young Master Zhao. Please come in. Yueqing also smiled and went up to greet him. No. With them here, I'm not in the mood to drink. Zhao Xiaoqian waved his hand and looked at Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf with disgust. The shop assistant said angrily. Did you see that? You've scared away our guests. Why aren't you coming with me to the VIP room? Shut up. If you keep talking, I'll slap you to death. The madman raised his eyebrows. They were really challenging his limits. You. The shop assistant was furious and shouted. You guys don't know what's good for you. What's going on? When Yueqing heard the shop assistant's shout, she immediately turned around. OP, you let them go to the VIP room out of kindness, but they don't know what's good for them. They even threatened to slap me to death. The shop assistant ran to Yueqing's side and said angrily. Yueqing frowned slightly. Looking at the two men and the wolf, she said, The three of you are in the wrong. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and walked to Zhao Xiaoqian. He cupped his hands and said, Greetings, young Master Zhao. We know each other? Zhao Xiaoqian frowned and looked at Qin Feiyang. We've met once. It's just that young Master Zhao forgets things and doesn't remember us. Qin Feiyang smiled. Don't try to get close. How could young Master know trash like you guys? Zhao Xiaoqian's two followers laughed in disdain. Qin Feiyang nodded and said, Yes, we can't afford it. But young Master Zhao, we know a lot about your Zhao family. Zhao Xiaoqian was stunned and asked suspiciously, What do you mean? Why don't we talk in the VIP room? Qin Feiyang smiled. Not interested. If you have something to say it in front of everyone. Zhao Xiaoqian said. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, I'm afraid that if I say it in front of everyone, it will affect your Zhao family negatively. Zhao Xiaoqian frowned. Qin Feiyang walked forward and said in a low voice, Zhao Xiaojin. What? Zhao Xiaoqian's expression changed. How about it? Are you interested now? Qin Feiyang laughed. Zhao Xiaoqian looked at Qin Feiyang and nodded. Then please. Okay. Qin Feiyang laughed, looked at the waiter, and said, Lead the way. Okay. The waiter nodded. He actually knew Zhao Xiaoqian. You really can't judge a book by its cover. His attitude changed and he quickly ran to the front to lead the way. Yueqing also had a trace of surprise in her eyes. The other guests in the hall also looked at the two people and the wolf curiously. On the third floor. Please come in. The waiter pushed open the door of a VIP room, stepped aside, and looked at Qin Feiyang and the others with a smile. Remember, don't look down on people next time. The white-eyed wolf smiled proudly and entered the room. Yes. The waiter nodded. You guys stare in front of me, Zhao Xiaoqian said as he looked at the two attendants. Then he followed Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaoqian into the VIP room. If you need anything, please tell us. The waiter stood at the door and looked at them with a flattering smile. Not for now. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. Okay. The waiter nodded and closed the door. Inside, Qin Feiyang walked into the tea room, turned around and looked at Zhao Xiaoqian and smiled. Young Master Zhao, please sit. No need. Just say it, where is Zhao Xiaojin now? As long as you tell me what benefits you want, this young master can satisfy you, Zhao Xiaoqian said. Young Master Zhao, you're really a straightforward person. Qin Feiyang chuckled as he sat beside the tea table and leisurely brewed tea. Seeing this, Zhao Xiaoqian said angrily, I don't have time to waste with you. Hurry up if you want to say it. Okay. Come over a little, I'll tell you secretly. Qin Feiyang smiled. How troublesome. Zhao Xiaoqian snorted and walked to the opposite side of Qin Feiyang. Chapter 3149. Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked at Madman. With a thought, Madman grabbed Zhao Xiaoqian's neck and covered Zhao Xiaojin's mouth. Zhao Xiaoqian's expression changed. He struggled with all his might and cried out nonstop. He was only at the Nine Heavens realm. How could he struggle free? Qin Feiyang stood up and formed a seal with both hands. A puppet imprint appeared and entered Zhao Xiaoqian's head like lightning. Soon the control was complete. Madman also let go of Zhao Xiaoqian. What did you do to me? Zhao Xiaoqian looked at the two of them in shock. Nothing, I'm just joking with you. Qin Feiyang smiled. Don't try to fool me. Let me tell you, if you don't explain it clearly today, I'll let you go out lying down. Zhao Xiaoqian's face was filled with hostility. Go out lying down? Do you have the ability? White-eyed Wolf looked at him mockingly. I don't, but my Zhao family does. Wait, I'll get someone right away. Zhao Xiaoqian smiled coldly and turned to walk towards the door. Qin Feiyang laughed. You want to leave before you've even displayed your value? What value? Zhao Xiaoqian frowned. Hehe. Your value. Qin Feiyang smiled. With a thought, Zhao Xiaoqian's gaze suddenly became dull. That's right. The current Zhao Xiaoqian, under the control of the puppet technique, was an obedient puppet. Go outside and tell everyone how you tricked Zhao Xiaojin and Mo Yuancheng. Qin Feiyang said. Yes. Zhao Xiaoqian respectfully replied, opened the door, walked out of the room and stood in the corridor. Young master, what's wrong with you? The two followers looked at Zhao Xiaoqian suspiciously, feeling that something was wrong. But Zhao Xiaoqian ignored them and walked to the railing, looking at the guests in the hall below. Most of the guests below were actually discussing what happened that night, but no one had a clue. Do you really want to know what happened that night? Suddenly, Zhao Xiaoqian said. Immediately, everyone looked up at Zhao Xiaoqian. I know, Zhao Xiaoqian said. Young Master Zhao, what do you know? Tell me about it. Everyone was curious. In the meantime, on the 10th floor, Yueqing was about to enter her room when she heard Zhao Xiaoqian's words. She stopped in her tracks and looked at Zhao Xiaoqian curiously. Zhao Xiaoqian asked, I wonder if you've heard of someone called Zhao Xiaojin? Zhao Xiaojin? Everyone's eyes were filled with suspicion. Zhao Xiaojin is my third uncle's daughter, which means she's my cousin. My third uncle's family lives in the Alliance capital of the Azure Wave Snow Mountain. Immediately, Zhao Xiaoqian then recounted the process of how he had tricked Zhao Xiaojin and Qin Feiyang that night in detail. What? Your father actually set up a trap to harm his own niece? Everyone was dumbfounded. Yueqing's eyes were also filled with shock. The two attendants were also bewildered. Because only the direct descendants of the Zhao family knew about this, they didn't know about it until now. However, why would the young master say such a big thing in public? One had to know. Once this matter was exposed, it would be a devastating disaster for the Zhao family. Young master, can you stop talking? Let's hurry back. The two of them hurriedly pulled Zhao Xiaoqian and said in a low voice, Get lost. Zhao Xiaoqian pushed the two of them away and continued. Wu Sanyuan made a move that night because he coveted the space divine object. That space divine object was very powerful, so he ordered everyone to withdraw from the city. Young master, don't say any more. If the city lord finds out, our Zhao family will be finished. The two attendants secretly exclaimed. What was going on? Young master actually said such a secret in public? Could it be? They suddenly thought of the two men and the dog. Young master was fine before he entered the VIP room with them, but when he came out he became like this. It must have something to do with them. The two of them hurriedly ran into the VIP room. However, the huge VIP room was already empty. Only the teapot was bubbling and the fragrance of tea floated in the air. Where is he? Not good, this is a conspiracy. Their expressions changed as they hurriedly ran out and pulled Zhao Xiaoqian. Young master, quickly follow us home. However, Zhao Xiaoqian turned a deaf ear and said, Although the city lord personally took action, I heard from my father that he did not succeed. Then who's behind all this? Someone asked. It's the 10th elder of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. I heard from my father that this 10th elder's grandson caused the death of my third uncle Zhao Eryong in the Alliance. In order to avenge third uncle and the others, my cousin killed the 10th elder's grandson, causing the 10th elder to harbor a grudge in his heart. He got my father and the others to poison my cousin. Zhao Xiaoqian said. So that's how it is. Zhao Xiaoqian, your father and the others are really ruthless. Zhao Eryong is their younger brother, and Zhao Xiaojin is also their niece. After such a thing happened, not only did they not seek justice for Zhao Eryong, they even colluded with their enemies to harm their own niece. I really don't know how to admire your father and the others. Is this considered putting righteousness before family? Haha. Everyone immediately mocked. What's going on? Yueqing couldn't help but frown. Everyone knew that one should not wash one's dirty linen in public, but Zhao Xiaoqian actually said it out loud? Wasn't this equivalent to causing the death of the Zhao family? Shua. Suddenly, she looked at the door of the VIP room and thought of Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf. She hurriedly took a step forward and landed at the door of the VIP room. We've already gone in to take a look. There's no one there. The two followers looked at Yueqing and said in a deep voice. Yueqing urged. This should be a conspiracy. Quickly bring your young master back. We wanted to, but as you can see, young master seems to be possessed. The two of them were extremely anxious. Yueqing turned around and looked at Zhao Xiaoqian and said, Knock him out. Knock him out. We don't dare to do that. The two of them shook their heads. What's the point of worrying so much now? If you let him continue like this, your Zhao family will really be finished. Yueqing said in a deep voice. The two of them looked at each other, gritted their teeth, raised their hands, and slapped the back of Zhao Xiaoqian's head. But at this moment, Zhao Xiaoqian's sluggish eyes suddenly became clear. He turned his head to look at the two followers and said angrily, What are you doing? The two of them quivered and quickly retracted their arms. They looked at Zhao Xiaoqian and said, Young master, are you awake? What do you mean? Zhao Xiaoqian looked at the two of them suspiciously. Look at those people below. The two of them pointed at the hall. Zhao Xiaoqian lowered his head and heard the discussions of those people. His expression immediately changed. The two attendants sighed and said, You were the one who told them this personally. What? Zhao Xiaoqian's expression changed and he roared. Why didn't you stop me? We did, but it was useless. You even pushed us away. Young master, what's going on? The two followers had a wronged look on their faces. Zhao Xiaoqian's eyes darkened as he began to recall what happened before. Suddenly, he looked at the VIP room, killing intent surging in his eyes, and then he rushed in. Looking at the empty VIP room, he was stunned. He then looked at the two followers and roared. Where are they? They're long gone. The two of them shook their heads. Damn it. This is a trap. Zhao Xiaoqian roared. Yueqing entered the VIP room, looked at Zhao Xiaoqian and sighed. Go back quickly, let your father think of a way to salvage the situation. That's right, young master. Once this matter falls into the ears of the city lord, he will definitely not let you go, let alone our Zhao family. The two followers were also burning with anxiety. Let's go. Zhao Xiaoqian's heart sank, and his face was filled with fear. He immediately brought the two followers and activated the teleportation altar to leave. Who could it be? After Yueqing watched the three of them leave, he scanned the VIP room and frowned. Wait a minute. Two people and a dog? This combination. Could it be them? Creak. The door of the VIP room suddenly closed. Yueqing was shocked. He quickly turned his head and saw two people and a wolf standing behind the door. Xiaoqing, long time no see. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. You guys? Yueqing was stunned. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf looked at each other, and immediately returned to their original appearances. It's really you guys. Yueqing looked at them in shock. The white-eyed wolf chuckled and said, Who else do you think has the ability to do this? So, it's you guys who are secretly controlling Zhao Xiaoqian? Yueqing said. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded, walked into the tea room, and drank tea leisurely. Then why did you guys do this? Are Zhao Xiaojin and Emma Wuji your friends? Yueqing had a suspicious look on his face. Qin Feiyang chuckled and said, We just saw injustice on the road and drew our swords to help. This woman still couldn't be trusted, so he couldn't say that he was Mo Wuji. Yueqing was stunned. She wouldn't believe Qin Feiyang's nonsense. There was definitely something fishy about this. However, she was very tactful and didn't ask. Qin Feiyang glanced at the VIP room and said with a smile, I think the Heaven Immortal Tower is not bad. We will stay here for a few days. Xiaoqing, we won't disturb you, right? Of course not. I'm very happy. However, you guys have to change your faces. If the Zhao family and the City Lord Manor's people come to investigate, I won't be able to protect you guys. Especially Wolf King, you'd better not follow them for the time being. After all, your combination is too eye-catching. Yueqing looked at the white-eyed wolf and said, We know this in our hearts. Qin Feiyang nodded and asked with a smile, This Wu Sanyuan, does he have any children? Yes. 3 sons. They often come to my Heavenly Joy Tower. Yueqing nodded. Then how are their characters? Qin Feiyang asked. As the City Lord's sons, how can their characters be? They are no different from Zhuo Tianqing's children. Yueqing had a look of disgust on her face. That's good. Killing such people can be considered as eliminating evil for the people. Qin Feiyang chuckled. Yueqing's eyes narrowed. It seemed like this Wu Sanyuan should have offended these people before. Otherwise, Qin Feiyang and the others wouldn't deal with him like this. All right then. If Wu Sanyuan's sons come again, inform us. Qin Feiyang said. Okay. Yueqing nodded. After that, she continued. However, after Zhao Xiaoqian's ruckus, I'm afraid they won't come in a short period of time. It's fine, I'll wait patiently. If they really don't come, I'll personally make a trip to the City Lord Manor. Qin Feiyang faintly smiled, but a frightening cold light flashed through his eyes. Chapter 3150. Outside. Not long after Zhao Xiaoqian left, most of the customers paid their bills and left. Since such a big thing had happened, they had to immediately inform their friends and family to watch the show. The people who stayed in the restaurant were also discussing. This spread from 1 to 10, from 10 to 100, and very quickly, it spread throughout Cloud Sea City. You damned beast. Zhao family. In a certain house, Zhao Xiaojin's uncle, Zhao Yunhai, slapped Zhao Xiaoqian hard on the face. Zhao Xiaoqian spat out a mouthful of blood, and his entire body was sent flying, smashing heavily onto the ground. Father, this isn't my fault. I was also schemed against. He hurriedly got up, knelt in front of Zhao Yunhai, and complained. I know that you were schemed against, but does Wu Sanyuan know? Even if he knows, he won't let you off, and he won't let our Zhao family off. You're trying to kill our Zhao family. Zhao Yunhai's eyes were filled with rage. I know. That's why I came back to look for you immediately and asked you to think of a way. Zhao Xiaoqian nodded, his face filled with fear. Tell me, things have already come to this. What can I think of? Zhao Yunhai was so angry that his face and neck were red. Patriarch, suddenly. An anxious roar could be heard. A guard hurriedly ran over. What's the hurry? Zhao Yunhai raised his eyebrows. The guard looked at Zhao Xiaoqian, who was kneeling on the ground, and wanted to say something but hesitated. Looking at the guard's eyes, Zhao Yunhai had already guessed the gist of it and said, Speak. There are rumors outside that you and the second patriarch plotted to murder the eldest Mississippi, and it was young master himself who said it in the Tianyue pavilion. The guard lowered his head and said, Look. It's already caused a ruckus in the city. How do you want me to deal with it? Zhao Yunhai glared at Zhao Xiaoqian and roared. Father, you have to save me. Zhao Xiaoqian was terrified. Zhao Yunhai's face was gloomy. He suddenly looked at the 2 followers and said, Immediately take young master and leave Wind Sea City. Find a place to hide. Yes. The 2 of them replied respectfully. Thank you, father. Zhao Xiaoqian got up and prepared to leave. Boom. But at this moment, a terrifying aura descended. Zhao Yunhai's expression changed greatly. He raised his head and saw a middle-aged man in a golden robe standing in the sky. Welcome, City Lord. Zhao Yunhai immediately bowed. Greetings, my lord. Zhao Xiaoqian the guard and the two attendants also hurriedly knelt and kowtowed. Meanwhile, Zhao Xiaoqian was drenched in cold sweat. How did they get here so quickly? What should he do now? The city lord was definitely here for him. He then looked at the city lord. His expression was even gloomier than Zhao Yunhai's as he walked step by step toward Zhao Yunhai. My lord, I can explain. Zhao Yunhai hurriedly said. Explain. Now that everyone in the city knows about it, is your explanation still useful? I don't care. The key is the 10th elder. This son of yours actually exposed the matter of the 10th elder. Even if I show mercy and let your Zhao family go, do you think the 10th elder will let you go? The city lord roared. Sir, please show us the way. Zhao Yunhai hurriedly knelt on the ground, terrified. The one who tied the bell should untie it. This matter started because of your son, so it must be ended by him. The city lord glanced at Zhao Xiaoqian. Zhao Xiaoqian's gaze trembled, and his face turned pale, because he felt a trace of killing intent in Wu Sunyuan's eyes. Zhao Yunhai glanced at Zhao Xiaoqian, then looked at the city lord and said, Please give me your orders. Bring him to the central square, and announce to the public that he was jealous that you treated your other children better than him, so he made up a lie to ruin our reputation. And clean up the family in front of everyone, kill him. When the time comes, I will appear and help you prove it. I believe that everyone will believe it. Wu Sanyuan said. Kill me. Zhao Xiaoqian's body stiffened, and hurriedly shouted. My lord, spare me, father, you can't kill me, I'm your flesh and blood. You asked for it. Wu Sanyuan snorted. Zhao Yunhai also nodded. That's right, if I don't kill you, our entire Zhao family will be finished. You. Zhao Xiaoqian looked at Zhao Yunhai in disbelief. Don't blame me. Zhao Yunhai shook his head, stood up and looked at the guard beside him, and shouted. Immediately take him to the central square. Yes. The guard nodded, took a step forward, grabbed Zhao Xiaoqian's clothes and twisted it. Let me go. I don't want to be a scapegoat. These things, even if I said it, are the truth. If you kill me, I will announce to the world that what I said is true. I will completely ruin your reputation. Zhao Xiaoqian roared hysterically. Even a rabbit would bite when cornered, let alone a living person. However, his words had completely infuriated the city lord, and also completely aroused Zhao Yunhai's killing intent. Cripple him and cut off his tongue. Zhao Yunhai roared. Yes. The guard nodded. He smashed Zhao Xiaoqian's qixi with a palm, then took out a dagger and cut off Zhao Xiaoqian's tongue. Ah! Zhao Xiaoqian screamed miserably. The heart-wrenching pain almost made him faint. Big brother. At this time, Zhao Xiaojin's second uncle, Zhao Yuntian, rushed over. When he saw that the city lord was here as well, and that Zhao Xiaoqian was in such a state, he was shocked. Greetings, city lord. Zhao Yuntian bowed, and his heart was extremely uneasy. He had just received the news and immediately ran over to discuss it with Zhao Yunhai. But he never expected that the city lord would be a step ahead of him. Zhao Yunhai comforted him. Second brother, don't panic. We've already thought of a way to deal with it. Zhao Yuntian was stunned. Zhao Yunhai was about to explain when Wu Sanyuan shouted. Don't say anything else, take him there immediately. Yes. Zhao Yunhai nodded and looked at the guard. The guard picked up Zhao Xiaoqian again and activated an altar. Second brother, you go with him. Zhao Yunhai looked at Zhao Yuntian and said. All right. Zhao Yuntian nodded repeatedly, even though he didn't know what was going on. It was fine as long as it could be solved. On the same day. So news of this spread throughout the city. So that's how it is. This Zhao Xiaoqian really isn't human. Just because Zhao Yunhai treats his other children well, he made up nonsense and ruined their reputation. This Zhao Yunhai really raised a white-eyed wolf. The people discussed. Tianyue restaurant. At the same time, a group of guards barged into the city lord's estate. What are you doing here? The waiter of the restaurant hurriedly went forward to welcome them. We suspect that Zhao Xiaoqian has accomplices hiding in your Tianyue restaurant, so we're investigating your restaurant. Call your restaurant master out. A guard captain shouted. All right. The waiter nodded. Yueqing walked out of the room and smiled. No need to call me, I'm out. Go ahead and investigate. All right, search. And every single one of them must be verified with a Heaven's Eye stone. The guard captain gave the order, and the group of guards immediately took action. Heaven's Eye stone. Yueqing was shocked, and she couldn't help but look at the VIP room on the 3rd floor. Using the Heaven's Eye stone to investigate was beyond her expectations. She couldn't help but worry. The 2 guards quickly found the VIP room. Without knocking on the door, they directly kicked the door open and entered. Be gentle, don't damage my things. Yueqing ran over with a pained expression and followed the 2 guards into the room. When she entered the room, there was no one. And the teapot was empty, and there was no tea fragrance in the room. The table and the floor were spotless as if no one lived there. Looking at this scene, she couldn't help but secretly breathe a sigh of relief. She also admired the actions of Qin Feiyang and the others, erasing all traces so quickly. No one. The 2 guards searched for a while, then left the VIP room and entered the next room. Yueqing also left the room and closed the door. About half an hour passed. The search finally ended. Even the kitchen was not spared, but nothing was found. After sending off the group of guards, Yueqing quietly entered the VIP room on the 3rd floor, only to see Qin Feiyang and Madman already sitting at the coffee table, leisurely sipping tea. That really scared me to death. Yueqing sat opposite the 2 of them, patting her mountain-like chest as she said, What's so scary about such a small battle? Madman was speechless. I'm not like you, my tolerance is limited. Yueqing shook her head. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and asked, What happened? I just heard that Zhao Yunhai and Zhao Yuntian personally took action and killed Zhao Shaoqian in the square in the center of the city in front of countless people. Settling this matter, Yueqing briefly explained the situation. It's settled just like that? Everyone believed it. Madman was stunned. It can't be helped. That Zhao Yunhai and Zhao Yuntian are too good at acting. When they killed Zhao Shaoqian, their pained expression, even if you saw it, you would believe it. Yueqing said. Poor guy, he was used as a scapegoat. Madman shook his head. Qin Feiyang was also quite surprised. He didn't expect Wu Sanyuan and the Zhao family to resolve this matter so easily. Madman looked at Qin Feiyang and said, Old Qin, we can't let them get away with it like this. Then what good idea do you have? Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. Is there even a need to think about it? Zhao Shaoqian's words don't have much influence because his status is too low. However, Wu Sunyuan's 3 sons are different. They're Wu Sunyuan's sons. If they say it personally, the effect will definitely be great. Madman smiled slyly. Sure enough, we're brothers, thinking of the same thing. Qin Feiyang smiled. Then let's do it? Madman asked. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and said with a smile, Don't worry. Let Wu Sanyuan and the Zhao clan relax for 2 days first. When they think that this matter is over, we will give them another heavy blow and make them despair. Most importantly, we can enjoy a good show of them killing their own sons with their own hands. Interesting. Madman smiled slyly. Yueqing looked at Qin Feiyang and Madman and couldn't help but shake her head and laugh. If you offend these 2 people, there's really no fruit to eat. They can torture you until you collapse. She couldn't help but sympathize with Wu Sanyuan and the Zhao family. Chapter 3151. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. The city lord's estate. Zhao Yunhai, Zhao Yuntian, and a robust man in black armor were standing before Wu Sanyuan. The robust man had a cold expression on his face, and the aura he emanated was at the late-stage ruler realm. How is it? Wu Sanyuan looked at them. I've searched the entire city for the past 2 days, but I haven't found them. The robust man shook his head. We haven't found anything either. Zhao Yunhai and Zhao Yuntian sighed. I don't believe that they've vanished from the world. Wu Sanyuan roared. If they're determined to hide, it'll be very difficult for us to find them. The robust man sighed. He was the vice city lord of Ocean of Cloud City. Regardless of whether it was his cultivation or status, he was on par with Zhuo Tiansheng. Then we'll dig 3 feet into the ground. They dared to scheme against me. We have to find them no matter what. Wu Sunyuan's expression was grim. Using Zhao Xiaoqian to deal with them was sufficient to prove that they knew their secrets. If they weren't eliminated as soon as possible, they would definitely cause endless trouble in the future. City Lord, do you think it's possible that Mo Yuanyuan and Zhao Xiaojin are behind this? Zhao Yunhai suddenly asked. Wu Sanyuan was slightly stunned, and then he shook his head. That shouldn't be the case. I heard that Zhao Xiaojin has returned to the Alliance capital. Returned to the Alliance capital? Then who else knows about our secrets? Zhao Yunhai frowned. Wu Sanyuan said, but I heard that they didn't see Mo Yuanyuan return. He didn't return? Then it's definitely related to Mo Yuanyuan. He wants to take revenge on us. Zhao Yunhai's gaze sank. Mo Yuanyuan. Wu Sanyuan pondered for a moment and said, I'll confirm it with the 10th elder. All of you can leave first. Yes. The three of them replied respectfully, and then they turned around and left the hall. Wu Sanyuan took out the divine voice transmission stone, and the 10th elder's image quickly appeared. Greetings, 10th elder. Wu Sanyuan stood up and bowed respectfully. The 10th elder nodded and asked, You sent me a message because you found Mo Yuanyuan, right? Wu Sanyuan hurriedly said, Please forgive me. I haven't found him. If you can't find Mo Wu Hui, then why are you contacting this elder? Do you think that I'm free? The 10th elder said furiously. No. Elder, I have something that I would like to confirm with you personally. Wu Sanyuan hurriedly said. What is it? The 10th elder frowned. Wu Sanyuan asked. Did Mo Yuan go back with Zhao Xiaojin? No. The 10th elder shook his head. Really? Wu Sanyuan was stunned. What is it? The 10th elder was doubtful. Wu Sanyuan pondered deeply for a moment and said respectfully, To tell you the truth, something happened in the city 2 days ago. Immediately, he told her about Zhao Xiaoqian's situation in detail. Such a thing actually happened. The 10th elder frowned. Yes. But don't worry, we've already taken care of this matter. It won't affect your reputation. And we suspect that these 2 people and 1 dog are being controlled by Mo Fengyuan. Wu Sanyuan said. It's best that you don't affect this elder. Otherwise, all of you will die. The 10th elder's eyes flashed coldly. I understand. Wu Sanyuan nodded, not even daring to breathe loudly. Mo Yuan really didn't return. Because I paid special attention to them. I only saw Zhao Xiaojin enter the Hall of the Exalted. The 10th elder said. All right, thank you, elder. Wu Sanyuan thanked him. Mo Yuan didn't return to the Alliance capital. Then, he must still be in the city. Quickly find him. The 10th elder instructed. Yes. Wu Sanyuan nodded. After the 10th elder's image dissipated, he called Zhao Yunhai and the others in and shook his head. Mo Yuan really didn't return to the Alliance capital. Then it must be him. The 3 of them had gloomy gazes. Because besides Zhao Xiaojin and Mo Yuan, no one else knew about this secret. Find him. We must find him. Wu Sanyuan said in a low voice. How? The 3 of them were puzzled. It was easy to say. The eastern continent was vast and had a huge population. Mo Yuan had deliberately hidden himself. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. He used Zhao Xiaoqian to reveal our secret in public. Why did he do that? Isn't it to take revenge on us? Fortunately, we reacted in time and prevented his scheme from succeeding. However, he will absolutely not give up just like that. Wu Sanyuan said. You're saying that he'll look for another opportunity. The 3 of them were surprised. That's right. Wu Sanyuan nodded and said in a low voice. It's very likely that he'll repeat the same trick. So the Zhao family will definitely continue to be his target. Zhao Yunhai and the others' hearts sank. The direct descendants of the Zhao family were all present. So Mo Yuan will probably make a move against them. As for the 2 of you, your cultivations are relatively strong. If he isn't confident, he will definitely not come looking for you. Wu Sanyuan said. Then what should we do? Why don't we ask the direct descendants to leave the city and hide? Zhao Yunhai and the other asked. No. Since we already know his target, why don't we beat him at his own game and lure him out? Wu Sanyuan sneered. Zhao Yunhai was shocked and hurriedly asked, "You're saying that we should use the direct descendants of the Zhao family as bait?" "That's right. Both of you go back and make arrangements later. Ask your direct descendants to head to the various restaurants and cause as much trouble as possible. The bigger the commotion, the better. Both of you observe from the shadows. Capture anyone who intends to harm your clansmen. In short, we'd rather kill 1,000 by mistake than let a single one escape." A cold glow flickered in Wu Sunyuan's eyes. Understood. Both of them nodded. Wu Sanyuan gazed at the black-armored man and said, "Go assist them." "Yes." The black-armored man replied respectfully. "Then go." Wu Sanyuan waved his hand. The three of them exchanged glances, and then they turned around and left swiftly. "You better not let me catch you." Wu Sanyuan laughed coldly, and then he vanished from the hall the next day. The VIP room. Yueqing entered the room and smiled as he gazed at Qin Feiyang and the madman who were seated in the tea room. "Are the two of you used to living here? There's food and drinks. Most importantly, there's no need to pay. Isn't it great? Even if you chase me away now, I won't complain." The madman chuckled. "I can't wait for you to stay here." Yueqing smiled and sat opposite Qin Feiyang. "Have some tea." Qin Feiyang poured a cup of tea and retreated to Yueqing's side. Yueqing took a sip and asked curiously, "Qin Dage, what kind of tea leaves are these? The taste is amazing." "Heavenly Immortal Dew." Qin Feiyang smiled. "Heavenly Immortal Dew. This name is really a perfect match. If you open a tea room with these tea leaves, I guarantee that your tea room will be full every day." Yueqing smiled. "I don't have the time for that." "You didn't come here just to chat with us, right?" Qin Feiyang said. Nothing can be hidden from Qin Dage's eyes. "I do have something to say. I heard that since yesterday afternoon, all the direct family members of the Zhao family have run out and entered the major restaurants to drink and cause trouble. They also caused quite a commotion," Yueqing said. "Drink and cause trouble?" Qin Feiyang and the madman looked at each other with a trace of suspicion in their eyes. "This is what I don't understand. Shouldn't they be hiding at home after such a big thing happened? Why do they dare to run out?" Yueqing frowned. "Yes. So arrogant. Aren't they afraid that we will do something to them?" The madman looked at Qin Feiyang in confusion. Qin Feiyang lowered his head and pondered. "Where's your leader? This young master wants to see her. Call her out immediately." Suddenly, an arrogant and domineering voice came from outside. Yueqing was slightly stunned. Looking at Qin Feiyang and the madman, she said, "I'll go out and take a look first." Qin Feiyang nodded. Yueqing stood up and walked out of the VIP room. Standing in the corridor, she looked down at the hall and saw a purple-clothed youth holding onto a wine jug, drunkenly tossing and turning. The people from the surrounding private rooms also walked out and gathered in the corridor, looking suspiciously at the purple-clothed youth. "Isn't this Zhao Tianyun's son Zhao Xiaoshuai? What is he doing? Don't you know the rules of the Heavenly Joy restaurant?" Everyone discussed in low voices. Zhao Tianyun's son? VIP room. Qin Feiyang and the madman looked at each other. It was actually a descendant of the Zhao family. Immediately, the two of them also stood up and walked out of the room. They stood in the middle of the crowd and looked at Zhao Xiaoshuai, who was making a scene below. "Young Master Zhao, do you need something from me?" Yueqing stepped in front of Zhao Xiaoshuai and laughed. When Zhao Xiaoshuai saw Yueqing, his eyes revealed an evil smile, and said, "This young master wants to see your face that is covered by the veil." As he said that, he raised his arm and grabbed towards the veil on Yueqing's face. Yueqing raised her eyebrows, dodged like lightning, and said in a deep voice, "Young Master Zhao, please respect yourself." "Respect? You're talking to me about respect. Huh? Don't you think it's ridiculous? Today, you must take off your veil, or else this young master will tear down your Heavenly Joy restaurant." Zhao Xiaoshuai stepped on the table and sneered. "Men!" Yueqing shouted. "Up!" The twin brother quickly ran out. "Young Master Zhao has drunk too much. You guys personally send him back to the Zhao family and hand him over to Lord Zhao Tianyin. At the same time, let him pay for the wine, Yueqing said. Yes. The two of them nodded, stepped forward, and walked out with Zhao Xiaoshui. This young master didn't drink too much. Let go. Zhao Xiaoshui struggled with all his might. However, the two of them turned a deaf ear to him and quickly left with him. Yueqing looked at the customers around and smiled. I'm really sorry to disturb everyone's mood. As an apology, everyone's consumption today will be 20% off. 20% off? Good. Then thank you, OP. Waiter, give me a few more jars of Heavenly Mountain Dew. We'll also have a few more jars of Immortal Wine. Everyone was overjoyed. Inside the restaurant, it became lively again. Qin Feiyang and Madman returned to the VIP room, and Yueqing came in again soon after. They actually came to my Heavenly Joy restaurant to cause trouble. What exactly does this Zhao family want to do? Her expression was rather angry. Chapter 3152. They are trying to lure you into a trap. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Lure you into a trap? Yueqing was taken aback. The madman frowned and pondered for a while before saying in surprise. You mean these people are bait? That's right. They are doing this to lure us out. Qin Feiyang nodded. I didn't expect them to be so smart. The madman smiled. After all, they are the city lords, how could they be idiots? Qin Feiyang smiled. You mean this is arranged by the city lord? Yueqing was suspicious. Of course. How could Zhao Yunhai and Madman be willing to let their family take such risks? But this city lord, no matter how much he thought about it, the only thing he didn't think about is that our target isn't the Zhao family, but him. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and looked at the madman. We will go to the city lord's mansion tonight and give him a surprise. The madman's eyes revealed a smirk. Late at night, the city lord's mansion. Two figures appeared in front of the gate. On both sides of the gate stood 4 guards, all of them at the perfection imperishable stage. But they didn't seem to see the two people who suddenly appeared. That's right. These two people were Qin Feiyang and the madman. Because Qin Feiyang had activated the concealment technique, the 4 guards didn't know that someone had appeared. The city lord's mansion was heavily guarded. There was a guard every 3 steps, and a sentry every 7 steps. But in front of Qin Feiyang and the madman, it was useless no matter how strict it was. Just like that, the two of them openly walked past the 4 guards and entered the city lord's mansion. After a search and investigation, they finally knew where Wu Sunyuan's 3 sons lived. A moment later, the two arrived in front of a lake. The lake was more than 1,000 feet long, and there were ripples on the surface of the lake. In the night, this place seemed extremely peaceful. On the other side of the lake, 3 exquisite pavilions sat side by side. There were more than a dozen guards standing guard in the dark. This was the residence of Wu Sunyuan's 3 sons. More than a dozen guards were at the great circle of the imperishable realm, protecting them very well. However, in the eyes of Qin Feiyang, it was nothing more than a figurehead. The two of them flew across the lake and landed in front of the first pavilion. The door of the pavilion was tightly shut, but it was not a problem for the two of them. The two of them entered the Black Tortoise world. They controlled the Black Tortoise world and entered the pavilion through the crack in the door. Very soon, they were in a cultivation room on the 2nd floor, looking at a purple-clothed youth. He was about 20 years old, over 1.8 meters tall, with a tall and straight figure and an air of arrogance between his eyebrows. Without any hesitation, Qin Feiyang directly appeared. Before the purple-clothed youth could react, he was thrown into the Black Tortoise world. Next, he quickly snuck into the other 2 lofts and forcefully brought the other 2 people to the Black Tortoise world. Throughout the entire process, there was not a single sound. The dozen or so guards who were guarding the area didn't notice it at all. Black Tortoise world. Western regions. The 3 youths stood in the air above the Blood Sea, looking around in surprise. Where is this? On the side, Madman crossed his arms and looked at the 3 of them with a playful gaze. Swish. Qin Feiyang suddenly appeared beside Madman. The 2 of them were disguised, So the three of them didn't know their identities. Who are you? Where is this place? The three of them looked at Qin Feiyang and Madman in panic. Is there a need to ask? Look at this endless blood sea. Then look at the environment and atmosphere here. This is obviously hell. Madman was playing. Hell. The three of them were shocked. One of the youths said angrily, "Stop pretending to be mysterious to scare us. Do you think we're scaring you? No, no, no. We are the legendary Oxhead and Horseface, in charge of seizing the souls of wastrels like you. Actually, you don't have to be too nervous. With the immoral things you did in the world of the living, at most you'll be fried a few times." Madman chuckled. When the three of them heard this, they couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. He was actually going to put it in a wok of oil and fry it repeatedly? Who can stand this? One of them said with a trembling voice, "The legendary Oxhead and Horseface don't have the head of an ox and the face of a horse, but you are humans. Who said that Oxhead and Horseface have to be Oxhead and Horseface?" Madman said angrily. That person shrunk his neck. Qin Feiyang glanced at Madman, then looked at the three of them, and then scanned the surroundings. Don't say any more. This scarlet blood sea, coupled with the pungent smell of blood and the blood mist that filled the air. This place really looked like hell. Let's not talk nonsense, come with us. The oil has been heated up for you in advance. Madman shouted, as if he was serious. Two of them were trembling in fear. But the other purple-clothed youth's face was extremely gloomy as he shouted, "Second brother, third brother, what are you afraid of? How can there be hell in this world? Not to mention Oxhead and Horseface, this is nonsense. I actually didn't scare you? You have guts." Madman looked at the purple-clothed youth in surprise and laughed. "Humph. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your purpose is. You better let us go immediately, otherwise, even if the heavens come down, they won't be able to save your lives." The purple-clothed youth snorted. "So powerful?" Madman chuckled and slapped out with his palm. "You're courting death." The purple-clothed youth shouted and punched at Madman. His aura suddenly erupted, and he actually had the cultivation of the initial imperishable realm. Not bad. But in front of me, even if you're a tiger, you still have to obediently lie down. Madman smiled coldly. The fists met in an instant. With a crack, the purple-clothed youth's fist and arm shattered, and blood flowed out. What? Seeing this, the other two were shocked. He actually shattered their big brother's arm. How terrifying was his strength? Boom. Madman also erupted with a terrifying aura. Greater imperishable realm. The three's expression changed. "All of you, lie down." Madman took a step forward, and his aura was earth-shattering. The three were immediately sent flying, and blood flowed out of their mouths. "Enough, don't really kill them." Qin Feiyang quickly stopped Madman. Madman retracted his arm and looked at the three with disdain. "Don't think that because you're Wu Sun Yuan's son, I won't dare to touch you, so you better be obedient." The three's heart trembled. He actually knew their identity. Knowing their identity and daring to attack them, this meant that he must have something to rely on. "Let me ask you, do you know that your father framed Zhao Xiaojin and Mo Yuanchu?" Qin Feiyang looked at the three and asked. The three were stunned. "Speak." Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. "I've heard of it. But this is nonsense from Zhao Xiaoqian. The Zhao family has already clarified." The three hurriedly said. "It seems that Wu Sanyuan didn't tell you." Qin Feiyang said indifferently. Madman transmitted his voice. "Old Qin, they don't even know. How are we going to arrange it? Is that important? As long as they are controlled by the puppet technique, they will say whatever I tell them to say. As for the rest, it's not important at all." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. "That's true." Madman nodded with a smirk on his face. Boom. Qin Feiyang released his pressure, firmly imprisoning the three of them. Immediately after, he formed a seal, and three puppet imprints quickly appeared and entered the top of their heads. "Since we have already controlled them, why don't we read their memories first, and see if Wu Sanyuan has any secrets?" Madman chuckled. "Good idea." Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. He immediately calmed down and began to read the memories of the three. Ah! The process of reading memories was quite painful. The three of them hugged their heads, their faces distorted as they howled miserably. Time flew by. About half an hour later, Qin Feiyang's eyes suddenly had a trace of surprise. Is there a situation? Madman looked at him and asked. Qin Feiyang didn't answer, and continued to read the memories of the three of them. Another moment passed. A meaningful smile crept onto his face. Don't be so mysterious, hurry up and say it. Madman urged anxiously. He must have found something incredible, otherwise Qin Feiyang wouldn't have such an expression. It's all ridiculous things, there's nothing to say. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Ridiculous things? Madman was taken aback and became more and more curious. He said angrily, if you don't say it, I will fall out with you. This? Qin Feiyang hesitated for a moment and nodded. All right. Immediately, Qin Feiyang whispered a few words in Madman's ear. It can't be. Madman looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. Can I lie to you? Qin Feiyang was speechless. It is indeed ridiculous. If Wu Sanyuan knew, I wonder how angry he would be? Madman's mouth twitched, but his eyes were filled with playfulness. He would probably be angered to death. Qin Feiyang shook his head and laughed. The next morning, the square in the center of the city. Before the sun rose, three people stood on the square. They were Wu Sanyuan's three sons. They were like three statues, standing on the square without moving. Their eyes were empty. Look, aren't those the sons of the city lord? Weird, why are they standing on the square so early in the morning? As the sun rose, more and more people gathered outside the square. Everyone had a suspicious look on their faces. Lord. City Lord's manor. A guard hurriedly ran to the front of a palace. The palace gate was closed. This was Wu Sanyuan's palace. A moment later, Wu Sanyuan wore a jacket and walked out. Beside him was an alluring woman. The woman was around 25 or 26 years old. Her clothes were revealing, and she was extremely seductive. Looking at her, the guard couldn't help but feel restless. Why are you in such a hurry so early in the morning? Wu Sanyuan looked at the guard, his face filled with anger. Lord, I just heard someone report that the three young masters were standing on the square in the center of the city early in the morning. I wonder what they are doing. The guard came back to his senses and looked away from the woman, looking at Wu Sanyuan. What? Standing on the square in the center of the city? Wu Sanyuan was slightly taken aback and frowned. Are they crazy? I don't know either. The guard shook his head. Then call them back. Is there a need to report such a small matter to me? Wu Sanyuan said angrily. We can't call them back. When we found the three young masters standing on the square, we sent people to look for them. But the three young masters seemed to be possessed. No matter what we said, they wouldn't listen and just stood on the square. The guard frowned and said, this matter was really mysterious. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.